versus your home-standing, returning 2022 CIF champions in North football, Billings Outlaws. And now, ladies and gentlemen, in center field, sponsored by Hannah Freedom of Keller Williams Yellowstone Property, your Montana sweethearts, your Billings Lady Outlaws.
Testing. Mic check, mic check. Down a little bit more. Testing, 1, 2. That should do it. Is that all right? Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Test, 1, 2, 3. Hello, test. Hello, test. Hello, test. I can go up a little bit. Hello, test. 1, 2, 3. Hello, test. 1, 2, 3. Hello, test. Mic check. Mic check. Hello, test. Hello, test. Mic check. Hello, test. Hello, testing. 1, 2, 3. Hello, test. Hello, test. Just a little bit. Hello, test. Mic check. Hello, test.
Mic check.
Test. Hello, test. Hello, 1, 2, 3. Billings Outlaws. Yeah, we're good.
Okay. Do you want, should we move this out a little bit so we can see this thing?
They actually put us here so I can see, and if we look, we can see the end zone. But this 22, then it's right in the
Okay,
road.
okay.
But I wonder if we should stand.
We can.
Push that over a little?
We'll get used to it. We'll get used to it. I think we'll be all right. He'll cut people from walking here.
Because I can still see the end. If you move over to me, I think you can too. But this 22 is
Oh, yeah.
right in the road. So I don't think we can take
Ladies
that
and
off.
gentlemen, your Lady Outlaws. And now, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome your visiting team, the Sioux City Bandits.
Yeah.
Outlaw fans, get
I need all the help I can
on
get.
your seats and welcome your CIF new 2022 Billings Outlaws. Now, here is your starting lineup. First, let's go to the coaches of the Billings Outlaws. The defensive line, please welcome Steve Aaron. Steve Aaron. Billings coaches, offensive line, Mania Smith. The Billings Outlaws defensive assistant, John Benedict.
Did you watch that game? What a shit show.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, your head coach and defensive coordinator, the legend, Theo Johnson. And now, Outlaw Nation, let's meet your Billings Outlaws. First, the offensive players. He wears number 1. He is your quarterback. Please welcome Charles McCullough.
It's like he tells me every time. He just like stands back like this, waves at me,
Outlaws. Let's bring out the offensive team. For the offense, let's try it again. Number 1, quarterback, Charles McCullough. Your linebacker tonight, number 2, Denarius Anto. Defensive back, number 3, Preston Stewart. Defensive back for your Billings Outlaws, Chris River. On the defensive line for the New York Jets, please welcome Jim Luck. Wide receiver and defensive back, Billings Outlaws, Josh Best.
Would you have a new roster?
He's your defensive back tonight for the Billings Outlaws, Winston Green.
He says it's the same. He's got a couple.
Defensive back and part-time quarterback, Jeremy Benson. A wide receiver for the Billings Outlaws, Gary
Brown.
He is simply amazing. The wide receiver, Tyrone Lampede Howe. And finally, for your offense, wide receiver number 13, Ron McCraw. And now, Outlaw Nation, let's meet your defensive team. He is a big man. He is a leader on this team. He is a defensive lineman, number 15, Claude Davis. He wears number 21, a defensive back, Troy Edmonds. Number 32 will start tonight for the defensive team, Billy Eaker. Number 33 for the defense, Devontae Brown. On the defensive line, number 52, the man, the myth, the legend, Jordan Mosley. Number 54 tonight, the offense, Richard Ramirez. Here's the big man, Billings Outlaws. Please welcome number 55, Anthony Jackson. On the offensive line tonight, number 58, Nike Gooden. On the offensive line, number 93, Eddie Hamilton. And now, ladies and gentlemen, from Billings, Montana, all the way up to the NFL, back at Billings, the man, the son of Mitch Donahue. Please welcome number 49, Dylan Donahue. Ladies and gentlemen, your CIF Billings Outlaws. Ladies and gentlemen, we ask that you please rise and remove your hats as we salute and honor our country on this Memorial Day weekend with the national anthem. Our color guard is presented by the Warrior Wishes of Montana. Your Marine Corps tonight is sponsored by Brown's Plumbing. Navy is sponsored by Billings Window and Doors. Air Force sponsored by Rocky Mountain Glass. Army sponsored by 406 Disaster Recovery. Ladies and gentlemen, to sing the national anthem tonight, Billings' own Jessica Allred.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, oh, the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Jessica Allred. Ladies and gentlemen, as we get ready tonight to welcome you to the field, it'll be a special coin toss representative. Our great veterans tonight, 95-year-old Jack Kittleman, the last surviving member in Montana of World War II and Korean War veteran, is our honorary coin toss representative. Let's listen to what Jack Kittleman has done for our nation. He served in World War II and Korean War. Jack is now 95 years young. Entered the U.S. Navy in 1945, just ahead of turning 18. He took a train out of San Diego to boot camp, followed by radio school. He was shipped to San Francisco Bay, served at Skaggs Island radio station, honorably discharged in July of 1946. Followed the end of WW2, Jack attended Rocky Mountain College during this time. He is also married and has 2 children. Soon after the Korean War began, Jack re-entered the Navy in August of 1950. He was assigned as a radio man 3rd class aboard the USS. Japan was shipped out in Korea. During this time, the Chinese forced the evacuation of U.S. military, and millions of helpless citizens fled to South Korea. During the evacuation, the Bisbee crew rescued about 30 Korean civilians feeling to safety aboard a 35-foot fishing boat. The sea was rough, the boat was overloaded, and would have capsized without the rescue. The Koreans were taken on board, grateful to their rescuers. The Bisbee crew took them to a safe port in South Korea, 100 miles away. Among the survivors, a 2-year-old toddler and a 90-year-old grandfather. Jack saw some rough seas while he was in the Pacific. The Bisbee was caught in a typhoon in the Philippines, fighting against 180 miles an hour. Jack returned to Japan on a transport ship and was discharged in 1951 in Seattle. Returning to his family in Montana, Jack continues to serve in the Naval Reserves for 2 years in Montana. 6 decades later, Jack was flown to Washington, D.C. as part of the honor flight. When viewing the Korean Memorial a Korean-American family, thanked him for his service. Jack's wife, Lucille, is here with him tonight, along with 2 of his daughters, Mary and JC, and son-in-law, Doug and Chris. He also has a son, Ken, and daughter, Diane. 9 grandchildren and 14 grandchildren. WW2, please welcome Jack Kittle.
What a great way to start this Memorial Day 2022 inside the First Interstate Arena. Hi, fans, and welcome to the game of the season here in the Champions Indoor Football Network. Jay Cohn along with Rick Halmas inside the big barn here in Billings. We welcome our fans watching tonight in Sioux City as it's a battle of the top 2 teams in the league. We've been focused on this for last week at least. Rick, good to have you back, and the fans are still filing in here, but this is the game everyone's been pointing to for a long time.
It really developed that way after Salina beat Sioux City to give them their loss, and now you have a chance if the Outlaws win by 14 or more and then win out next week, of course, to have home field advantage in the playoffs, and they know it.
They know it's at stake in this game. He had a chance to talk to many of the players this week, and it's been a rough up and down season, as you well expect, with injuries and so forth in the world of indoor football. But here in Billings, it's nice to have indoor football back again with the great Outlaws history dating back to early 2000s. So just a great season, and they have a good chance tonight to be in control of their own destiny, the Outlaws do.
Yeah, I think, Jay, if you break the game down, one of the things, of course, that you and I talked about, we visited with coaches before the game, was Luke Daly is no longer with the team as a kicker. Brought in a kicker for the week, and an unfortunate incident in his family took him out, so they really have no place kicker. They'll be able to kick off, but they're going to have to go for 2 on most of the extra points, which isn't bad in this league. You know, if you convert 1 out of 2, you know, that's like kicking the extra points. But you mentioned that first game. 2 guys on the team then didn't exactly know what indoor football is about. I asked, for instance, Dylan Donahue, that was your first game. What was the difference from the NFL to this league? And he said, I can go out as far as I want as a stand-up linebacker. Here, I've got to be right over the offensive guard, and I can't move. It's a different deal. But the thing maybe that's going to be the two big differences tonight. 2 big differences. Billy Eakins is back strong. They lost him in the second half of that game and, of course, gave up a number of touches. I'm not saying it was just because of him. But he'll make a big difference tonight in the secondary. Coach Theo wants to keep everything in front of him. He wants to make them have drives. He doesn't want to give up big plays. And, of course, that's what Sioux City lives with. But the other thing is that Troy Evans. The offense is different. Josh Best at receiver makes it different. So I think you're going to see a much different team, or I know Sioux City's going to see a much different team than they did in that first game.
So again, the top 2 teams come in. Billings with a record of 6-2, Sioux City with a record of 7-1. And it was back on April 2nd. It was the first regular season game of the season that Sioux City beat the Outlaws 57-44. But as Rick mentioned, it's a whole different ball game this time around. The teams with 8 games under their belt to kind of figure out the ins and outs of the CIF.
Well, you have to think that Sioux City's got most of their players that they started with. Haven't made a lot of changes. They do some ducks and dives on offense, and Coach Theo knows that, Coach Johnson. But he said that's mainly a distraction if our guys stay home. That's going to be a key. Just keep everything in front of us. That's one of the things, actually, that Sioux City does real well on defense. They don't rush passers as hard. They kind of catch the offense coming to them, and it caught up with them. Salina, got an edge on that, and of course Salina with that upset win now puts the Outlaws in position to be able to win it all.
Absolutely. We see Greg Conry teeing it up for Sioux City. He's the special teams player of the week in the CIF. He had quite the game against Salina. And he is a good one. He's 10 of 18 in the field goal department and he's made 30 of 38 extra points. Well, the kickoff goes right off the chest of one of the Outlaws players. The ball is loose down in the corner and along the boards, but it looks like the Outlaws were able to recover that and run off the hands of Gary Brown down there, who usually is known for his good hands.
But that's such a blast.
Right.
It's coming at you, going all different directions, moving in the air. But that kicker is an interesting story. Greg Connery is a fourth grade teacher in Hinton, Iowa.
Is that right?
And the fourth grade kids just love it when he comes to school and he's got an ice pack or a hot pack on his back because of his kicking the night before.
All right, so the Outlaws get the first chance on offense. Charles McCullum, the quarterback, with 35 touchdowns to his credit already this season. And he gives it to Evans, who breaks off right side of the line and comes up just short right at the markers. So no gain on first down. We're just underway here inside the Big Barn in Billings, the First Interstate Arena at Metro Park. It's the Outlaws against the Sioux City Bandits. I love it. It's the Bandits and the Outlaws doing battle here in the OK Corral of Billings. McCullum seeing if he can get some positive yardage here on the second play from scrimmage. It's a quick opener right over the middle down to the 15-yard line. Pass is complete there. Didn't catch the number on the receiver, but
Number 13.
I thought that was Jaron McGaw, one of McCullum's favorite targets. Just underway here at third and about 7 yards to go. McCullum overfires McGaw at the 20-yard line.
You know, this defense, as the game goes along, we're going to call Randall Blash, Zach Slugger, and Dejon Emery's name a lot. They're up front is as good as any in the league. And sometimes it's not because they rush so hard. It's because they're so intelligent and they wait for the play to develop in front of them.
We're definitely seeing some of the best talent in the CIF on both sides of the ball here tonight. And we say tonight, it's just after 5 here in Billings on this Memorial Day. McCullum looking for that open receiver, and that's Tyrone Lappinghouse, good for a first down just across midfield at the 24-yard line.
Tyrone's one of the players I got to visit with this week. Only a year of his only year that he played high school, they won a state championship in football, but his favorite memory is playing basketball, scoring 10 points in a minute against Winston-Salem. He played 2 sports in college and scored 10 points in a minute to beat Winston-Salem.
He has 14 touchdowns to his credit so far this season, and he's in motion here. McCullum goes to Gary Brown along the far sideline, who hits the boards at about the 17. So that'll bring up second and short. The Outlaws took about 3 plays before they got the feel of things, but now they're moving the ball steadily, and they're inside the red zone. Lappinghouse, Gary Brown split out on both sides behind McCullum with McGaw, and Evans right next to him for a possible run play. It is to Evans. Quick opener across the 15, breaks a tackle and squirms down to the 10-yard line. Good second effort there by Evans, who's really been a game changer in the running department, Rick, for the Outlaws. He's both a receiver and a runner. You have some good background on him. He's good friends with Marshawn Lynch.
Good friends with Marshawn Lynch. He patterns himself after some of the best in the NFL. The offensive line loves him because they call him just a whirling dervish. He gets tough yards any way you can get him.
So it brings up first and goal just outside the 10. Here's Evans again on the handoff, but good job by the defense that time as Sioux City all over that play. Had it pretty much stopped from the get-go.
Randall Blash in the middle, and they're starting Ben Pfister, 6'4", 270 from Missouri Southern in the middle tonight. I didn't watch him in the Salina game.
So McCullum looking at 2nd and 10. The Outlaws can still get a first down if necessary. And he finds Gary Brown wide open in the end zone, and nice jumping catch. McCullum again showing how accurate he is in the passing department.
They've got a play that they just add the word over to the pass route, and it means find the open. It says post. It starts out as a post, but then the receiver gets to break it off into an open spot, and that looks exactly like what they just did there.
That was Joshua Best. I stand corrected. And you mentioned, Rick, that he's going to get quite a few offensive reps in this game.
Yeah, he makes a big difference. His speed, he's so fast.
So here's McCullum. They're going to go for 2 because of the kicking problems that Rick detailed, and McCullum's going to run it in. So a quick touchdown for the Outlaws, and then McCullum scampers right up the middle after he checked to see who was open. No one was there, so he just took it in himself. So Charles McCullum shows why he is such a dangerous quarterback, Rick. He usually has the time to find the wide receivers open, but if not, he can also tuck it and run it.
The Anthony Jackson was trying to do the icky shuffle. That was ugly.
Here comes the replay. You can see McCullum looking, and finds, yes. That touchdown to Gary Brown, number 9. It looked like 2 receivers in the same area for the Outlaws. Brown was a little deeper than McGaw right at the goal line. And then it was Charles McCullum taking it in on the 2-point conversion. So again, if you're just joining us a bit late here in the early going, the Outlaws take the opening kickoff, go down, march right down the field, score, and add 2 points. Rick, let's reiterate the kicking issues for the Outlaws. Luke Daly was released a couple weeks ago. They had Brett Mathis on the roster. They released him this week.
And it wasn't due to the team. Mathis had a horrible situation come up in the family and had to leave the team.
So it's going to be a team effort in the kicking department, other than they've told us they're pretty much going to go for 2 every time, and I don't think we'll see many field goal attempts. We watched a number of players try their hand at kicking in the pregame warm-ups, and suffice to say, I think they'll rely on McCullum's passing arm.
I don't know, did he say Devontae Brown was going to try to do the kickoffs? I'm not sure who's doing the kickoffs.
We'll see. Your guess is as good as mine.
I think that's the first time I've seen tryouts before a game.
Here's the squib kick by the Outlaws. Picked up at the 11-yard line by Sioux City. Whoa. Nice play. No hesitation there. That was Fred Bruno from Wayne State. Took that kickoff and the 11 and got it right back up to the, looks like the 23-yard line. They'll take over in Outlaws territory across midfield. Bruno, 6 foot, 200 pounds, out of Wayne State. He's got 6 touchdowns to his credit. He's one of the top wide receivers for Sioux City as they come in, guns a-blazing.
One of the things you're going to see tonight from Sioux City is Bruno gets some carries. They run that jet sweep. Their jet sweep runners average about 5 yards a carry. The 2 backs, 20 and 21, Prohaska and his sub, they average about 3.5 yards a carry. And actually, they're a pretty balanced team.
Well, the Outlaws have won 2 in a row coming into tonight. They're 3-0 at home on the season, 3-2 on the road. And of course, Sioux City was undefeated until just last week when Salina pulled the upset. And that has set up this clash tonight here in Billings between the top 2 teams in the CIF. Glad you could join us in Sioux City, watching on the CIF network here on the streaming service. Jay Cohn along with Rick Halmas, and the fans still filing in here at the Metro Park First Interstate Arena. As always, they're packed around the bottom of the field in those suites right next to the boards. I haven't had a chance to watch a game from those suites yet down along the boards, Rick, but as we've mentioned before, you better be heads up down there because you're going to have a football player and a football flying at you at any moment.
Yeah, there's a number of those boxes down there. The Outlaws sold a lot of them, and all of them are full. That's great to see.
Here's Lorenzo Brown. He's the quarterback from the University of Sioux Falls, and he gives it right up the middle to Drew Prohaska, their top running back, who is stopped after a short gain down to around the 20-yard line. Prohaska from Briar Cliff. I'm not sure if that's a high school or a college.
That is a college.
It is a college. Well, you know, in the NFL, it's kind of the new thing is to mention your high school rather than when they introduce themselves in the starting lineup. You know,
I will say there's a
where is
lot
Briar
of kids
Cliff?
from all over the country.
Lorenzo Brown has run for 6 touchdowns this season.
He's a big man.
Yeah,
2 1/4.
He's coming, and he hits his receiver at the 10, who breaks into the open down to the 8-yard line. That's again Prohaska. So coming out of the backfield, Prohaska found himself open, and Lorenzo Brown, after a quick second to check the situation, was able to find him as he crossed the 10 and broke a tackle down to the 6.
Both teams got about 1,300 yards on the season, but per game, a few more rushing yards for Sioux City, a few more passing yards for the Outlaws.
And here's Prohaska again, and Dylan Donahue gets him right away for no gain. Heads up play by the defensive lineman for the Outlaws. Dylan Donahue, his dad Mitch from Billings West High School, University of Wyoming fame. Mitch also played for the Outlaws back when the Outlaws first started in Billings.
Yeah, Mitch set a sack record for Wyoming when he played there. Got drafted by the 49ers, spent a couple years there, and then traded to the Broncos where he finished his career. Mitch was like 250, 6'4", but after he'd make a play, a sack or something, he'd do a backflip. It just, you shouldn't be that athletic.
So it brings up 2nd down and goal, ball at the 6. Brown, Lorenzo Brown Jr., the quarterback for the Bandits, directing traffic. Quick opener to the number 17 and a hit for a loss by Devontae Brown. Nice defensive play there. He was not fooled.
That's a big loss. Seven, 8-yard loss. 3rd and 11.
That was Damon Powell from University of Iowa, the receiver on that, but Devontae Brown had other ideas, so here it is. 3rd and goal. Now the ball is back at the 11-yard line. Players trying to get the fans here at the First Interstate Arena fired up. Brown puts his players in motion, and he had a chance to run it. Now he's going to scramble for his life, and he throws the ball is complete down at the 6, right on the boards down there. There is a lot of traffic going on.
He was running for his life.
I didn't see the number of the Outlaws had a chance for a sack, and Brown just kind of shrugged it off.
15. And then Antoine put the finishing touches on him into the boards.
It was Claude Davis that came through there.
Claude Davis.
So they're talking things over. The clock is stopped now. It's with 6:27 to go here in the first quarter. Outlaws 8, Bandits nothing. This is the first possession of the game for the Bandits. But they've marched right down the field.
Illegal defense. Number 5, Billings was not in a 3-point stance. 5 yards, stays 3rd down.
So the 5-yard infraction on the illegal defense against the Outlaws puts the Bandits in better shape.
3rd and 6. You know, Jeff is the number 1 linebacker recruit in the nation when he came out of high school, Jeff Luke. And so he always played up. Now they have him playing down with his hands in the grass, and he said it was a lot different.
Work in progress. Here's Lorenzo Brown again. Players go in motion. He looks to his right, over the middle, overthrows everyone. Had 2 receivers in the same area. That was Brandon Shepard, number 14, and Damon Powell right in the same area. And that young man's got a souvenir. So it brings up 4th and goal from the 6. Bandits trying to answer the opening touchdown by the Outlaws. We're expecting this game to go right down to the wire.
Greg Connery comes in. He's about 58%, as I recall. about 70% on extra points, and this isn't a lot longer.
We'll trade them touchdowns for field goals. The snap is down, the kick is up and good. So Greg Connery adds the 3-point field goal. So with 5:20 left here in the first period, it's the Billings Outlaws 8, the Sioux City Bandits 3.
There's a happy 4th grade class in Hinton, Iowa.
As we mentioned, Connery, the kicker for Sioux City, is the special teams player of the month, or player of the week rather, in the CIF. He had quite a game in a losing cause against Salina last week. So it's all about playoff positioning. Rick, the winner of this game is going to be in the driver's seat as far as the playoffs for the rest of the season.
As long as it's by 14 or more for the Outlaws. They lost by 13, so they have to win this one by 14 or more.
And then we have a game next weekend also Billings does against Wyoming, and they picked up a victory last night. Wyoming did over the Southwest Kansas Storm. 40-30. So
on
they're
paper,
up and up.
On paper, they run the ball better than anybody else in the league, and they're not bad defensively. So they just haven't been able to get the W's. So the Outlaws can't look past them.
Evans and Best are back deep for the Outlaws. They await the kickoff here by Connery. Let's see what he does here. He's going to go all the way over the boards. Well, that'll give the Outlaws the ball at midfield.
And a fan gets a souvenir.
So we'll endorse that all the way around. We get the ball at midfield and a fan gets a souvenir. So the kickoffs, as we've mentioned before, if you've watched our CIF network streaming service before, the kickoff, if you kick at the length of the field and it goes over the backboards and doesn't touch anything, that gives the other team the ball at midfield. So the Outlaws will put it in play right now at the 25-yard line. Of course, 50-yard fields, 28 yards wide. And the end zones are 10 yards with curves on the corner, maybe an 8-yard end zone. Might average out to be, but it is an exciting brand of football. If you haven't had a chance to catch it live, you'll have a couple more opportunities. It looks like the Outlaws have sewed up a playoff spot. The question is, will they get a bye that first weekend, and will they have home field advantage throughout? As we mentioned, the Outlaws, Rick, perfect at home this year, 3-0. So it's a big advantage to have your home team crowd and all the things that are so familiar with you. It's hard to win anywhere.
It is, but Sioux City, I looked up the stats, and Sioux City actually has performed almost the same
on the road and at home,
statistically as away as they have at home. So I know the Outlaws have scouted them, so they know that.
So we mentioned Sioux City with some of the top defensive players. Zach, how do you pronounce Zach's name? Schlugger. He's leading the team in tackles, number 18. We'll keep an eye on him. He's right in the middle of the defense. Here goes McCullum with a quick pass over to the corner. And along the boards, it's Laughinghouse. Had to fight for those yards, and they may have only been 2 yards, but you can see it's a very physical game. Once the player gets slammed into those boards or touches those boards with contact, the ball is down.
The stop was made by Kamar Greenhouse. He's played real well this year.
So McCullum facing 2nd and 8, throwing deep. Oh! He had Jaron McGaw, who took a part of that board with him and just went over. He was wide open. McCullum would like to have that back and just throw it a little lower.
Well, actually, the trick was he waited too long. If he'd have thrown the ball earlier, as soon as Jaron crossed the goal line, because he was open from the 5 on in.
Now there is padding. The boards do have some padding, but you saw how hard McGaw hit that board.
Right.
It's going to leave a mark.
And Laranji Vason, number 12 in that Salina game, I thought he was hurt real bad. He hit those so hard.
Here goes McCullum again, now facing 3rd down. He's going to tuck it and run here. across the 15, and he's going to get enough for the first down. Little fake pass and tuck it down. Number 12, that's Laronje Vason right there.
Yeah,
He was your defensive player of the week in the CIF this past
on
week.
his pro day in college. Laronje was from West Georgia. He played with Dylan Donahue at that same school. But on his pro day, all his numbers were way low, but he still wanted to play football, so he pursued professional football, and I just called him an overachiever in every game I've seen him play. He's just one of those kids who shows up and goes to work, and he might not have the best tools. He was a 4.34 40 guy, so he's got some speed.
Well, you saw the officials call holding against Sioux City, so that puts Billings in business. I think they took the run of McCullum and put him in business inside the red zone, now at the 12-yard line. McCullum looking, a little communication problem there.
Right.
He threw it one way, and Best went the other way.
You know, your receivers can be called a certain number at in or an out, and you know, maybe a 2 was called and he ran a 1. That does happen.
So it brings up second down, 2nd and 10. Line to gain is your 3-yard line. McCullum surveys what kind of defense the Bandits will employ. Over the middle, throwing again, intended for Evans that time.
Well, Mr. Slugger just laid McCullum out on a blitz. McCullum barely got it off, and then he paid the price. So you can call that a hurry.
That Slugger is 6'2", 245 out of Morningside. One of the top defensive players in the CIF. So it brings down 3rd and goal. No, 3rd and 10. I stand corrected. They can still get a first down. They need to get down to the 3. McCullum looking over the middle. Now he gets sacked.
Ben Pisser, who didn't play in the Salina game, at least I didn't see him play, but he makes a big play there.
McCullum talking to Gary Brown that time. Might have had a communication problem. He was gesturing that maybe Brown went the other way that McCullum was anticipating. So that brings up 4th down now, and now the ball has been pushed back to the 19-yard line. It'll give them more room to operate, but not what you wanted to see after picking up a first down at the 13. So McCullum, 2 wide receivers both split out to the right in motion. He's looking over the middle, running, looking for some help into the end zone, and overthrows it, but the flags fly. Intended for
somebody's down. I can't see over in the corner, but there's a player down. And
Gary Brown was the intended receiver, and the flags flew right away. So we'll see what the call is going to be.
That may have been who the flag was on. You mentioned Zach Slugger earlier. He's had a great year.
Holding, number 54 on the offense.
With offsetting
Those penalties.
penalties.
Offset. We'll replay 4th down.
You know, I thought Richard might play more. That's Richard Ramirez, and that's his natural position, center, but he's been playing a lot of defense. But Slugger, number 18 in the middle, for Sioux City, he was nominated for the Cliff Harris Award, which is really prestigious. Cliff Harris was from a little college called Wichita State in Arkansas. Like in 1970, signed a free agent contract with the Dallas Cowboys and started Pro Bowler 6 times. And so now they have the award in the leagues for the best defensive player, and Slugger was nominated for it.
All right, so it's 4th down again. McCullum looking to get the Outlaws back in that end zone. He's scrambling around. He's open. Still loose at the 10. Goes into the boards. Out of bounds at the 9-yard line. So that's where the Outlaws will turn it over on downs. McCullum showed some nifty moves there just to get out of the middle of the pocket as it was collapsing on him.
I tell you, Pfister's having a great first quarter. He's the one that moved the pocket, and McCullum barely escaped. But Pfister made that play. They just don't have, Sioux City just doesn't have a weak spot. They're not first in all the categories. They're first in wins. And
That's right.
That's the most, they just don't make mistakes. They made a few in that Salina game. That first half was ugly.
Well, that's an important stop here for Sioux City.
Yeah.
Outlaws had first and goal at the 13-yard line and could not punch it in. Had a couple penalties that thwarted that effort, but nonetheless, it's back to Lorenzo Brown, the quarterback. Split out near side is Damon Powell. And there goes Prohaska in motion. Brown sets up. He's going deep, wide open, and untouched, but overthrown is Brandon Shepard. He's from Oklahoma State, and the former Cowboy showed his speed right there. Outlaws had a little mix-up in the defensive backfield. He was open.
By 10 yards. That's exactly what happened in the first game too. They run some schemes, and the defensive backs misread it, and that they left them wide open. Now what do we have? Another penalty?
That's the end of the quarter.
End of the quarter.
Roderick Jarrett, number 3 for the Outlaws, was back talking with another defender, trying to figure out whose man was that.
Exactly. Billy Eakins, second in the league in interceptions, probably would be first if he hadn't been out for the number. He got hurt in this game initially, you know. But he's looking for some picks tonight. He said that's on his mind. He wants to win the game, and he thinks he can help with some picks. And he's good. He led his the records that he had at his small school in Ohio still stand. His interception record and his breakup record. So he's the real deal.
Well, if this Outlaw fan can kick the field goal, maybe they'll suit him up. The kicking game is so important here in the CIF. In the games we've done, it's been a big factor, and especially if the games come down to the wire and are close. So coming into this game, Sioux City has a record of 7-1. Billings right behind at 6-2. And then after their victory last night against Topeka, Salina has moved into a 6-3 record. Omaha is 5-3. Southwest Kansas, after losing to Wyoming, drops to 5-4. Wyoming has improved to 3-6 now after beating Southwest Kansas by 10 last night. And then we have Rapid City 2-6 and Topeka, unfortunately for the Tropics, 0-9. But they feel that they've had a successful season there in Topeka in their inaugural effort here in the CIF. They've had good fan support, good advertising support. Just couldn't get it all to fall in place on the football field, but they are not going to make the playoffs. Both of these teams will. Here's Lorenzo Brown, deep in his own territory at the end. Here's give up the middle, and wide open goes Prohaska down to the 20, still on his feet, and gang tackled as he gets near the 24-yard line. It's a little drop play there almost, Rick.
Was, and you'll never see somebody that can move people like Munger can, Rashawn Munger in the middle. I don't know if he's the biggest, but he's probably, for his size, he's probably the biggest, most athletic lineman. Number 73 in the middle is a huge force. He's having a great year.
Yeah, he's hard to miss, number 73.
And small on his right side is not small, but actually Frank is a little undersized, number 55.
All right, so Lorenzo Brown and his Bandits have a first down at just short of midfield at the 24-yard line. Ball knocked down that time by Jeff Luke. Got a big paw up there, so Lorenzo Brown negated in that effort.
What's interesting is I just mentioned Rashawn Munger. He's 6'6". Luke, I don't think is 6 foot. He's listed as 6 foot, but I don't think I'd looked him in the eye when we did our interview. And yet Luke got a hand up and deflected that pass.
Well, it says he's 6'1", 260.
He's 260. He's every bit of that. I don't know that he's 6'1". But I won't argue with the program.
All right, the Bandits look to pick up some yardage here on second down. They give again that quick running play. Is that the fly sweep that you were talking about earlier?
I was watching how the defense was set up, so I missed it. But
It was to Kamal Cass was the running back.
generally he lines up in the backfield. He takes the place for Prohaska. Normally.
He's a little undersized at 5'11", 190, but obviously very quick. He scored 6 touchdowns this year coming into the game.
3rd down and 8, big play.
Let's see if the Outlaw defense can rise to the occasion. Brown surveys quickly, founds his man right along the boards. Number 2 down to the 5-yard line and inside the 5.
Well, it's a first down by 10 yards, and he got awful close to the end zone.
That's Bruno, Fred Bruno, and he showed why he's one of the top receivers in the league. Once he got his hands on the football, he just took off down the boards and was not to be denied. So the Bandits in business now. 1st and goal, the ball just outside the 2-yard line.
Devontae Brown and Luke were talking about protection issues.
Here's the give to Cass up the middle, and he breaks a tackle and with second effort gets out of the grasp of the Outlaws.
Jeff Luke had a shot.
And
Just couldn't make the
Eakins
tackle.
did as well right at the goal line. But so that puts the Bandits on top. They tally 6 points with 11:39 to go. They take the lead 9-8. And they're going to try that extra point with perhaps one of the best kickers in the league, Connery.
I'd say he's right there. I wonder if you could call him a normal school grad, right? Because he has an education degree. 4th grade education teacher, and they love him.
Here's the kick, and it's perfect. And that puts the Bandits up 10-8 with 11 minutes and 14 seconds left here in this first half. The Outlaws had a couple of good defensive plays that time, but you have to give Lorenzo Brown Jr. credit. He found the right stuff, and Kamal Cass with the running touchdown with 11:14 left. Cass is from East New Mexico and comes in with 165 yards rushing on 49 carries. He's right behind Prohaska in the rushing department for the Bandits.
Yeah, they don't lose a step with either one of them. They're both within 1/10 of a yard, I think, statistically, 3.5 and 3.6. Eastern New Mexico, this program's been up and down. I believe they're called, or they used to be called the Greyhounds. They were in Portales, but they had back in the late 60s, they've had built a great big stadium, had a great football program coming, but I haven't watched them for years until now.
Well, I haven't seen anything that's really surprised me. I'm expecting this game is going to go pretty much like we've seen so far. Tough defense, opportune offense.
So far, it's according to the coaches' desires too. They're not giving up huge plays. They're not giving up 30-yard touchdowns. Theo Johnson says if we can keep them in front of us and make them drive the ball, our defense has a chance to create more turnovers.
So Connery's going to kick off again, and he kicks it right to the Outlaws, who picks it up and still on his feet. Antoine. Denarius Antoine showed his good hands by, you're right, you better be ready on the kickoff team. The ball might be flying right at your face.
Exactly.
At any moment.
Devin Groenhagen in on that tackle is an interesting story. He's also from right there in Sioux City from Morningside, but he's a deputy sheriff in his off time. He works 6, in which we found out that Stephen Aaron's a D-line coach here
for the Outlaws,
also a deputy sheriff. So congratulations.
Can you be a deputy sheriff and play and coach for the Outlaws at the same time is the question. McCullum looking to get his team untracked. Here's Gary Brown. Oh, they said he was down as he grazed the boards at the 15-yard line, but that was almost a touchdown.
So kind of like a tunnel screen. The motion men both cut off the corner, so Brown could get around the end. So a good pickup of 5.
Second down and 5 yards, we'll call it. Ball at the Bandits' 14-yard line. So the McCullum and company have good effort, and Evans goes right off left tackle there on the quick opener. Ball came loose, but they're saying the ball was down. Evans a little upset with himself, felt like he might have been able to break that.
Yeah, that's an amazing play by Randall Blash, out of 6', 320-pounder out of Shorter University. But he was an interesting story to kind of research. Why Shorter University? Nobody ever heard of it. But his favorite player was Mean Joe Green, and they said, why Shorter? He said it was a calling from God, and Shorter's a religious school.
I see.
Christian school.
Big play here, third down, 3rd and 4. McCullum has problem with the snap. Now he finds his man. Is it intercepted? No, they're saying incomplete. Intended for Laughinghouse. He had his hands on it, but so did the defensive back, who came up with a good play there.
I think it's
oh so close.
I think that was Kamar Greenhouse again. I can't see that his hair is all over his number, so I can't read the number. But I think it.
7 on the defense. Half of this
Hands to the face against Sioux City.
Against Pfister, and he doesn't like it. Boy, what a great defensive play.
Well, you can see the officials are up for this game as well. They're on top of it, making the calls as they should. And I think in that regard as well, Rick, it's a little different than the first time the two teams played. The officials have had a time to learn the game and the rules,
right?
Just like everyone else.
First and goal.
McCullum overthrows McGaw, who goes over the boards. Oh, I'm sorry, it was Laughinghouse.
And again, I believe that was number 9 again. Kamar Greenhouse.
All right, so that'll bring up second down. Sorry, Rick.
You just tell already in this game how it's intensely focused by both teams, and neither one of them are making a lot of mistakes.
All right, McCullum now with the ball at the 6. Calls the signals, looking over the middle, and finds his man, Gary Brown, in the end zone. Second touchdown of the game.
And he beat Kevin Ransom that time out of Wayne State.
A penalty flag flies. Not sure what that's about. I'm thinking that if that coach is not happy. Let's see what the discussion's about.
Troy's out there as part of it, Troy Evans.
Well, they've already put the points on the boards for the Outlaws. Right now it says 14-10, so we'll go with that with 7:54 left to go here in the first half. Both teams have showed their mettle up to this point with good defense and some timely offense.
How do you pronounce the head coach's name for?
I knew you were going to ask me that.
Like number 18 on the defense. That penalty will be banked on the kickoff.
It's uncharacteristic.
Once
for
again,
Slugger.
the penalties
Irv
tonight brought to you by
Strobeen. Strohbeen.
He's still pleading his case. But the Outlaws are going to go for 2. Obviously, if you've just joined us, they don't have a place kicker tonight.
And so far, they're 1 for 1 in the 2-point after department. So McCullum and Evans talking it over in the backfield. There goes the receivers. McCullum looking quickly, finds. It's broken up, intended for Gary Brown. Someone got a hand in there. Oh, they had 2 receivers.
Slugger was back there. Braden Mintz was back there. Mintz.
So McCullum and Brown talk it over. So it's 14-10. The 2-point conversion is no good. 7:42 to left till halftime here at the First Interstate Arena. Jay Cohn and Rick Halmas. Hope you're enjoying the CIF streaming service on the network with the top 2 teams in the CIF doing battle here tonight. This has been a busy facility, Rick, this weekend. Hank Williams Jr. in concert in the Metro on Friday night, and yesterday 3 high school graduations starting in the morning with Senior and then West and Skyview last night. It's amazing how quickly these arena staff can switch things around and be ready tonight for arena football.
Yeah, I was here for the Hank Williams concert Friday night. It was jam-packed. There was a huge stage down in front of us on all kinds of lights and standards. I was here for the graduation yesterday, watching my grandson graduate from Billings Senior. And on Saturday, I'm proud to say our granddaughter's team at Billings Senior won the state softball.
Congratulations. Yeah, that was an all Billings final, Senior and West.
West is they have such good hitters.
All right, so Winston Green, number 7, is going to kick off for the Outlaws. Let's see how he does. He squibs it right down the middle. The flag flies. Something not kosher along the line of scrimmage there.
Joyner.
Wow. Well, we're seeing some fired up play here.
Somebody took a swipe at somebody over there against the boards, but Lenwood Joyner out of St. Augustine was a rookie.
Roderick Jarrett, number 3 for the Outlaws, getting a say into how things went there. So let's check the penalty flags. We have one by the kickoff by the line of scrimmage and one down about the 18-yard line where the tackle was made. The officials discuss it, try to sort it all out.
This was certainly a problem for Sioux City in that Salina game. I don't know how. There was one time I think I mentioned to you that I believe there were 7 flags on the field. It just was an ugly first half. And I hope, I'm thinking that won't continue here because it's a championship playoff game. At least that atmosphere.
Well, at this point, the officials are making the calls, making the teams play by the rules, which you want. A little discussion going on right now. Some penalty flag flew at the goal line here, right on the kickoff. So I'm thinking maybe the Outlaws were offsides or something was not
right.
Good, because that flag flew right away. The other flag had to come in on the tackle where Jared Brown pummeled the Outlaw or the Bandits player over the boards. They're still talking about it. Dylan Donahue trying to fire up the hometown crowd. There's a good number of people here. They said the team is averaging between 2,000 to 3,000 fans a game.
Well, there must be 4 in here tonight then. Nice crowd, nice to see.
So the clock is stopped, 7:34 left on the First Interstate Arena scoreboard. Outlaws 14, Bandits 10. We're counting down. All right, here we go. Here's the call.
There are 2 penalties on the play. Offsides. Number 3, Billings. That penalty will be assessed 10 yards from the end of the run. After the play, personal foul. Number 3 on Billings. That will be enforced half the distance to the goal. We will then go back 15 yards for the unsportsmanlike penalty that was banked prior to the extra point. First down, Sioux City.
So there were actually 3 penalties.
All those
2 on this
penalties
play and
brought
1 on
to you
the
by
previous play.
Yeah.
Roderick Jarrett did not have a good play there. He got flagged for being offsides and then for a personal foul.
Is number 3, that says Stewart on the back of his jersey. Do we have some numbers that are?
No.
Because I wondered about that earlier. I think that's Stewart.
Let's ask Rich here. Who's number 3?
Rayshawn Stewart.
Rayshawn Stewart. You stand corrected, Rayshawn Stewart.
I only saw the name on his jersey. It's like a cowboy having his name on the back of his belt.
All right, so here we go. Brown.
Under center, there's that fly sweep.
Oh, and a hit made by the Outlaws defensive line there. And it looks like
Claude
Luke
Davis.
and Claude Davis combined to put Prohaska down quickly.
Put the pop on him. When I was talking to Claude this week, he's a big man. Because of how difficult it was for him to get through school and to get a walk-on, because he had no pro day. He got hurt as a senior. And to get signed by the and the Giants or Jets. That's it. That's one of his fondest memories. But he just loves football.
On the play, the Bandits pick up 5 yards. They've got the ball at the 20-yard line of Billings. Brown sends his players in motion. Some movement along the line, pass over the boards, and both players go tumbling over the boards in the right-hand corner. Wow.
Wow.
That was Damon Powell, the receiver.
They were both looking back for the ball, and both hit the boards and just flew.
Winston Green in there for the Outlaws.
Thank God neither one of them are hurt.
That's one of the more spectacular double flip plays we've seen so far this season, as both players went tumbling over the boards.
It's hard to say, that this left guard, 55, Blake Frank, is small because he's 6'4", 295, but on that team he is.
All right, so second and just a yard now for the Bandits. They give to number 2, and he pummels into the boards over there. That's Fred Bruno, and there's lots of emotions going on out on this field. These two teams really don't like each other much.
There's a rugby scrum going on. 2 against 2 there. The two twos. Fred Bruno and
Denarius Antoine. The Bandits are saying we got the first down. Let's see where they spot it at. I believe it's going to be third down still.
Short.
So it was just a bunch of.
That was like a Green Bay sweep, though. They blocked it clear to the boards. I mean, the edge didn't have a chance with that play. Great blocking scheme.
So it's a big play here, third down, just a yard to go for the Bandits. Yard to gain is at the 14, the ball resting just on the Billings side of the 50, and here's the give up the middle to Prohaska, I believe. And he picks up enough for the first down.
Dylan Donahue on the bottom of the pile. And he's got to go, Dylan's about 250, and he's got to go against Frank that's right at 300 all game long, so Dylan better be in pretty good shape. He's had a tough year this year with injuries. Glad to see him back for this one.
First down in the red zone here for the Bandits. They try to take the lead. They trail 14-10, 4 minutes to go. It's a quick sweep at a pitch to Drew Prohaska again into the boards. Gang tackled there by the Outlaws, and a penalty flag flies. Head coach Theo Robinson with the Outlaws with his hands going, what happened there? Let's see what the call is.
Well, I hope it's not on Denarius Antoine. He was in the middle of that for the Outlaws.
And it looks to me like it's going to go against Billings.
Some of these refs not knowing how to do their dang job. I've never seen a more incompetent bunch of officials in my life.
So they talk it over. Here's the call.
After the play, unsportsmanlike, number 49 on the defense. That's half the distance to the goal.
Dylan.
Stay second down.
Against Dylan Donahue. So half the distance to the goal brings up second down.
He won't be proud of that.
Ball just inside the 4-yard line. Actually, Sioux City can get a first down before they get a touchdown if necessary. So we'll see. Brown looking over the middle. Now he's going to get nearly sacked by Donahue that time. And Donahue helps him up. Brown didn't appreciate it. That could have been a penalty, but it wasn't. The officials looked the other way, but Donahue looked to me like he helped him up after he knocked him down. The pass was intended over on the near side right below us, and it sailed into the stands. So that'll bring up 3rd down. It's 3rd and 3 for the first down, 3rd and 4 for the touchdown. That clock is running now as we get down to 3 minutes left here in the first half. Outlaws leading the Bandits 14-10, and the crowd here inside the First Interstate Arena really getting riled up here. This has been a rather physical contest so far, and it shows no signs of letting up. Brown under center this time, and the pitch goes. It's going to be a double pass, incomplete, intended back to Lorenzo Brown from the. And it was a handoff and then a pass back to the quarterback, but Brown could not collar it. He was wide open, but could not, and now they call illegal procedure. 2 forward passes, perhaps? No?
For the first one,
It was
I
a
thought was bad.
handoff.
I'm not sure what the other one was, what the procedure call was.
So they held him here to a field goal try. Connery will put his foot in the pigskin right at the 11-yard line. Snap is down, the kick is up, and the kick is good. That brings the Bandits to within 1 with 1:52 to go. Here in the second quarter, it's Billings, the Outlaws 14, and the Sioux City Bandits 13.
This is exactly what it looked like on paper.
Yeah.
Both you and I couldn't get over. We thought it was a misprint in the program. Yards allowed by the defense were exactly the same. Identical. But
Yeah, both teams have allowed 210 yards.
I think Coach Johnson's going to have a talk with Dylan, though. Dylan is just amped up, and his motor runs without, being in a big game. It just runs a lot more. It was interesting talking with Coach Johnson. He runs a sports development facility out west of Billings. He has some youth programs. Really a nice program. He played here in 2006 with the Outlaws at 7. Then he coached with Haran O'Neill down in Sioux City. Until
Salina too.
And Salina came back here, and when Coach Smith had to be replaced, and they asked Coach Johnson to step up because the first thing he did, he says, my success is because of the players. They had every right to leave, and they didn't. They stuck with him, and he'll never forget that.
Theo sees this as a real test for himself. In the article in the Billings Gazette earlier this week, he said, the question is, it's a statement game. Can I beat the good teams, the playoff teams? He knows he can coach and beat many of the bottom teams in the CIF, but can he do it against the teams that they'll meet in the playoffs? We'll see. Long kickoff by Connery, taken by Evans at the goal line, and he's blasted into the boards right as he crosses the 10-yard line. So a good kickoff there by Connery. Short, did not go over the boards, and the Outlaws will put it in play at their, just shy of the 10-yard line.
Brandon Mintz out of Simpson College with a stop, 6 foot 240, and he put a pretty good hit on Troy. Good stop.
Coach Johnson, just 41 years old, also coached at Billings Skyview for a time, and got to know a lot of the high school kids. My grandson played for him the last couple of years, so he had nothing but great things to say about Coach Theo Johnson. All right, well, let's see if the Outlaws can answer that score, that field goal. Here's Evans with that whirling dervish move right at the line of scrimmage. Didn't get much yardage there, but he evaded one tackle, lost his helmet in the process.
Great play by Zach Schlugger, the Cliff Harris nominee out of West Hancock High School, the Morningside University there in Sioux City. He beat the block. McGaw, was supposed to take out the middle linebacker, and Slugger just beat him.
It looks like they called a timeout with a minute to go. This will be your immediate timeout with a minute to go. They're going to talk it over and make sure they've got the right play called. So it's exactly as we expected. Right, left, uppercut, and both teams taking a swing at the other one. So it's right as we expected, a 1-point game here with a minute to go till halftime.
Smash mouth football is kind of a cliche, but in this case, that's exactly what it is.
It's a more physical game than we've seen here in the earlier games. This is right up at the top.
Good athletes executing, and what a great game to participate in, to be viewing. Hope you people in the audience are enjoying it as well.
Well, it's a perfect day for indoor football here in the Magic City of Billings. It's been raining for a couple of days now. Did you notice that billion-dollar rain outside, Rick, in the last couple of days?
I went out and stood in it.
Yeah,
just to
it's
see what
been
it felt
awesome,
like.
hasn't it? I think we got over an inch of rain or close to an inch of rain, and of course, all of the Midwest and the upper Midwest and eastern Montana could use as much rain as they can get. So with a minute to go, both teams talking it over. The Outlaws would love to answer that last field goal scoring drive by the Bandits. The Bandits have 2 field goals and 1 touchdown, while the Outlaws have 2 touchdowns. They have 1 2-point conversion that was successful, another 2-point conversion that failed. And that's how we stand, 14-13 in the final minute of the half. Again, the ball resting right at the 10-yard line. Receivers Laughinghouse and McGaw go in motion. Here goes McCullum over the middle, intended for McGaw, and he got it at the 20. Nice catch. He was open. Great hands.
Great hands. Coverage was good. He just got a step, just broke open. McCullum delivered it on time. Great play.
McGaw's the second leading receiver on the Outlaws, averaging over 48 yards a game in receiving.
That's so hard to do against Sioux City because they're so disciplined. They just don't give up big plays.
So it puts the Outlaws in business. Ball inside the Bandits' 20 now. There go the receivers and McCullum. We'll see who can find open. And it's Laughinghouse. Did he carry it? Hit touchdown.
He caught that? Are you kidding me?
I couldn't tell because he went flipping over the boards, but it looked like he had it at last check. And the official ran right over there to.
I thought I'd seen one of the Salina players make one of the best catches I'd ever seen over the boards. That
Last
dropped
weekend.
it. That's the number one that we've seen.
Yeah. And Laughinghouse throws the ball up into the stands here.
Because the coverage was there.
The coverage was, you couldn't have been any closer.
It's just great execution.
How about McCullum putting it right on the money?
That's what championship football is. Making plays when you have to.
So here comes the 2-point conversion. These are so important now with the kicking problems with the Outlaws really not having a kicker on the roster this weekend. Here goes McCullum. Looking, and now can he run it? Can he get in? Yes, he can. Charles McCullum. Little one-on-one action. It was like fake left, go right at the goal line. He was able to give the move that got him across into the end zone.
An ISO play, and I don't, he doesn't run the ball much. So Emery and Pfister and Blash, I don't think expected a draw play. But they've got a half to go, and they've got to know that. You got 43 seconds yet and a half to go.
And as we've seen in these final seconds of the half, anything can happen and usually does.
Well, that Salina game against that Sioux City played, it was 0-0 with 7 seconds to go. Salina scores or kicks a field goal. Then on the kickoff, there's a fumble. Salina runs it back in, and in 7 seconds they get 9 points. Missed the extra point, but for, let's say, all of the first and second quarter, except the last 7 seconds, it was 0-0. Ended up 9-0 at half.
Well, we'll see if we can get a look at that Laughinghouse awesome reception where he caught it and flipped over the boards when we weren't sure. Here's the kickoff by the Outlaws. Squib kick, eludes everybody.
Execution.
And it's picked up, and now there's a penalty flag down.
Special teams. Sioux City is so good at it.
Denarius Antoine with a saving tackle there.
Don't know what the penalty is. Great run back, but a great execution. What a great kickoff.
Yeah, that kick took a couple of bounces, went over the head of a couple of the Bandit players.
Exactly what you want.
That penalty's 10 yards.
The
First down.
call goes against the Bandits on the return, so they'll be backed up a little more. Still 41 seconds, anything can happen. 22-13, your Billings Outlaws lead the Sioux City Bandits in a showdown here at the First Interstate Arena in the Big Barn in Billings. Metro Park fans enjoying this one, and it's not quite half over yet.
Lorenzo Brown, was out a bit before that Salina game, and he was real shaky in that first half. That was part of it, but he's not shaky at all here. And I bet you Sioux City's glad to see how he's executing.
Back in the groove, he's back in the shotgun here. Pressure is on across the middle. And the nice catch made. Wow, I wasn't sure he was going to hang on to that.
Brandon Shepard.
Oklahoma State product.
Yeah, he's one of the old. There's not many players 30, 31 in the league or over. I think he's 29, so he's one of the older players in the league.
He's a big target, 6'3", 205. He has 9 touchdowns coming into this game. So the clock is running now, under 30 seconds left. Here goes Brown. Can he get it in? Quick over the middle. Ball is incomplete, intended for Fred Bruno right at the 4-yard line, but it skipped off the carpet, so it's incomplete. So with 17 seconds left in the half, the clock is stopped. It's a 9-point lead by the Outlaws right now. Outlaws just took the lead, expanded the lead, I should say, after the Bandits had come back to pull within one, 14-13. The extra 2-point conversion and the touchdown gives them the 9-point advantage right here. All right, second down and 10. They're inside the red zone though. Here's Brown, surveys the situation, looking quickly, and it's complete to Kamal Cass out of the backfield.
Billy Eakins with a stop. And boy, there was a collision at midfield. One of the in-motion receivers and Devontae Brown had a big collision at about the 5.
This is a huge defensive stand right here for the Outlaws. Can they keep the Bandits out of the end zone with 13 seconds left, leading by 9, trying to get into the locker room at halftime with a little more comfortable breathing room. And the Bandits would like nothing better than to punch this in here. Cass is in the backfield next to Lorenzo Brown Jr. Receivers take off. It's a give. No, it's a fake. Intended for a big number 55 in the quarter, but overthrown.
And Blake Frank, who's 6'4", 295, is a big target. And I had not seen that in any of their films. And like Coach Steve Aarons was telling us before the game, you're going to see something new every week. Well, that I think is new.
And here comes Connery in to try the field goal, so that could prove to be huge as the Bandits could not complete. It was kind of a trick play to the lineman, but Brown's pass went over the outstretched fingertips. Here's Connery. Can he add the field goal? Kick is up. No, it's wide left. And so the Outlaws defense has to be tickled about that. It looked like the Bandits were going to tack on at least a few points. But they take over with 5 seconds to go, and the ball, a matter of just running out the clock here, and they'll go into the locker room with a 9-point advantage. Well, it's been an excellent first half. Both teams, I would have to say, have to be pleased with how things have gone, but I know the Sioux City Bandits would rather be on top right now. They would have liked to have tacked on some points there.
I know the coaches love the intensity. I don't think they like the chippiness, but but they're both playing well. They're both playing hard.
Are they going to go deep to Laughing House? 5 seconds to go. McCullum, or will they play it conservative? Now they're going to give it to Evans. He'll break into the open at the 15. And gang tackle down to the 20, and that'll be the last play of the first half. And it's been a good one as your Billings Outlaws enjoy a 22-13 lead here at halftime. And the fans here getting ready to go get some refreshments. So it's been a bit chippy, but I'm watching the two teams as they head out. They're like shaking hands at halftime here, and the coach was saying, good game, good half. So hopefully that means bodes well for the second half.
Yeah, I don't think you're going to, I don't know what adjustments you'd make. On paper, they're doing exactly what they both do. McCullum has completed a few more deeper passes than I would have expected against that defense. But Sioux City's running the ball pretty well, and they're also executing a good passing game. But to the Outlaws' credit, they have been keeping all those plays in front of them, which is what Coach Johnson wanted to do. 2
missed opportunities by the Bandits. One when they had the receiver streaking down the field wide open and overthrown by Brown, and then right at the end here, as they were trying to score at the end of the half, an overthrow right near the goal line intended for the big guy Frank, and it went over his fingertips. So those 2 passes might be the difference in this first half, because it could very easily be a 1-point game or a 2-point game.
And that's where I think you'd have to give the edge a little bit QB-wise, passing to McCullum, because that's probably one he completes, as he showed with Laughing House. But he's not going to run near like Lorenzo does.
Well, let's see. We're going to check out some halftime stats for you, but we've got some excellent Memorial Day festivities underway here at the Metro. Jessica Alstead again did an outstanding job with the national anthem to start this game, and then one of the last remaining survivors of Pearl Harbor, Jack Kittleman from Billings, was honored, and they gave the whole resume that he had of World War II and his effort to put in his service for our country, and we thank Jack, and it was a great honor for him to be singled out here.
Well, if it's appropriate on this Memorial Day, as I mentioned earlier, actually when Memorial Day was set up, the moment of remembrance is at 3 o'clock in each time zone's local time. Don't exactly know, when looking it up, where the tradition originated, but some records show that the earliest Memorial Day was organized by a group of enslaved people from Charleston, South Carolina, and it was about a month after the Confederacy surrendered in 1865. But in 1966, the U.S. government declared Waterloo, New York, as the official birthplace of Memorial Day. It was first celebrated in Waterloo in 1866. And so it was chosen by the government because it hosted an annual community-wide event, and a lot of businesses closed. Residents went all out, and they decorated all the graves, and that's kind of continued all over the country. It's a day we remember those who've given their lives, and there's a lot of them.
Absolutely. I saw some of the video tributes here in the Billings area, including a great video of the Veterans Cemetery in Laurel that included some drone footage. It was just great. Here are the Lady Outlaws now into their memorial camouflage units. Let's watch them entertain the crowd. Well, the Billings Outlaws and the Lady Outlaws enjoying first half action here from the First Interstate Arena. Here's some first half stats for you, Rick, and as we expected, it was going to be very close for the Sioux City Bandits. They have 7 first downs, 33 yards rushing, 59 yards passing, 3 kickoff returns for 55. Lorenzo Brown Jr. is 5 of 13 in the passing department. For the Outlaws, they have 8 first downs to 7 for Sioux City. The Outlaws have 36 yards rushing, 87 yards passing. Charles McCullum is 9 of 14 in the passing department. Neither team has turned the ball over. And in third downs, the Outlaws are 1 for 3, and Sioux City is 2 out of 5. So it's very close to the vest, both teams.
Dylan Donahue's got a couple of hurries. Claude Davis has got a couple of hurries. So defensively, they're not giving up big plays. Jeff Luke's had a couple of big plays. Jeff was an interesting interview when we were over to the Outlaws and visited. I asked him about Luke or Luck, and he said no, it's Luke, and he said it's French. His parents are from Haiti. He went to Treasure High School in Port Lucie, and I mentioned earlier he was the #1 high school linebacker recruit coming out of college. So when he had to go to, we went to Florida State early, but Bobby Bowden had a different scheme where he didn't fit into it real well, so he transferred. So he went to Cincinnati. He played for Tommy Tuberville, Auburn coach, now Alabama Center, Butch Jones, Nick Saban, Jimbo Fisher, now at Texas A&M. And he said that was his village.
That's a pretty good village.
Isn't that a pedigree of coaches?
Right.
And he said they poured their life into me. So out of college, he had a free agent tryout with the Dolphins, signed with them, played with the Saints, Jets, Calgary. He actually won a CFL Grey Cup in Toronto. And so Dylan Donahue brought him because they played together at West Georgia. It's different for him to have his hands down as opposed to being up, but that interception against Rapid City wasn't his first one. But he was very, very gentlemanly. For as tough as he is, as hard as he plays, he's very gentlemanly. Matter of fact, they all were.
And I think you discovered what I have, Rick, is that all these players have an amazing story of how I ended up here in the CIF. And the Troy Evans you were telling me, the running back for the Outlaws, one of his best friends is Marshawn Lynch.
Yeah.
And who's the gentleman who's related to Michael Irvin?
That was Josh Best.
Josh Best.
They said it created problems in the family. You know, he grew up at Fort Lauderdale. I said, well, Fort Lauderdale, isn't that where everybody goes for spring break? He says, yeah, and it's ruined it. I don't even go there anymore. But he says there's too much chaos. But he went to a JUCO in North Dakota. And so he went to North Dakota State, and he played for Brent Vegan, the Bobcat coach, and Craig Bull. But the family is split because of Michael Irvin. Irvin is, of course, a Dallas Cowboys fan, and they're all Miami Dolphins fans. So, but as you know, Michael Irvin is a big analyst now. He's a Hall of Famer.
Absolutely.
But and won 2 national championships while he was at Miami. But he works for the NFL Network now as an analyst.
And he's got a couple Super Bowl rings too with the Dallas Cowboys, doesn't he?
He does.
Yeah.
Yeah, he does. And Josh is a hitter. He's real slender, but he is a hitter.
Well, the fans being entertained here by Jessica Alstead, who also did the national anthem here. Quite a talent in her own right.
I would mention this about Josh as long as we brought his name up. He kind of touched my heart halfway through the interview. He made a lot of money as a flag football player.
Really?
In the American, what do they call it? American Flag Football League. And I looked it up. It's been around since about 17. They travel all over the world. His team went to Israel and parts of Europe. But he made a lot of money. But his sister died 6 years ago of cervical cancer. So all the money that he made in flag football, he gave it to cervical cancer research in honor of his sister. And so he plays kind of with her on his mind. That gives him a little edge. But the one thing he said he was disappointed about is Billings has no Chick-fil-A. But you told me
We're about to. It's under construction.
problem solved.
Well, that's a great story about Josh Best and his effort to fight cervical cancer. It's a terrible cancer. It's the cancer that took my daughter earlier this year. And
I'm sorry, I didn't know that.
Well, it's not like I want to broadcast that out, but everyone
Right.
that knows me knows the situation with my daughter Melanie, and that cervical cancer is not the cancer you want to be diagnosed with, I'll tell you.
Well, then we probably need to have you shake hands with Josh.
Yes. I would very much appreciate
But it really touched
that.
my heart when he was telling the story, because you could see how much it meant to him. They must have been close. As a matter of fact, a number of these players, they're so grateful that they got even a college opportunity, because they had to do whatever they had to do as youngsters. Most of them had to work as kids, walk who knows where, ride a bike who knows where, to make a little extra money to bring it home to help the family. And so then sports was their way into, and a lot of them didn't have good educations. Grades kept a lot of these really good players out of D1 programs. But they went through a JUCO, they did whatever they had to do, and almost all of them have a degree. A lot of them it's sports, related to sports management, but communications degree. For instance, Jeff Luke has a communications degree. Eddie Hamilton has a psychology degree. So, yeah, you're right. They bring, if you could just spend time with them, it's
Yeah,
pretty.
they all have amazing stories. And who's the young man that plays on the line for Jordan Mosley? He told me
Oh,
he's
my
been
gosh.
in 9 different countries playing football.
And 41 different
Cities.
40 American and Mexico City.
Wow.
He lived in Mexico City for 2 months playing for a really league there. And he came from Johnson C. Smith University. Our buddy Steve Solberg stopped by the booth.
Good.
Nice to see you, Steven. Are you enjoying the game? He's rooting for the right team.
He's
He says
rooting for the
team.
home team. Good, Steve. But if you're just joining us, it's halftime here at the Metro Park Arena, First Interstate Arena here in Billings, Montana. The Billings Outlaws leading the Sioux City Bandits 22-13. The game of the year in the CIF, and it's certainly been one of the better first halves we've seen all year as both teams, these two teams with the best records in the league, battling it out. The Outlaws come in at 6-2, the Bandits at 7-1. And we've mentioned the playoffs. The playoffs in the CIF begin on June 11th. So we've got one more weekend of regular season games this coming weekend, and then we'll head to the playoffs. The top 2 teams, the top 6 teams in the league with the records get into the playoffs. The 2 top teams get a bye in the first week. And that's what we pretty much believe is at stake in this game. Whoever wins this game will have the inside track to have the top seed in the playoffs and home field advantage throughout, provided the both teams take care of their business next weekend.
And like I say, Rapid City is a sleeper in my mind.
I agree. When you look at the, it could be Wyoming as well. Wyoming beat Southwest Kansas last night to improve to 3-6. Rapid City plays Omaha tonight at the same time, so we'll see how that game. So this weekend they had 2 games in the CIF on Saturday night, and then 2 games here on Memorial Day Monday. And we'll see how it shakes out at that point. But at this point, the fans here are certainly enjoying this game and the halftime entertainment courtesy of Jessica Alstad and her acoustic guitar. You can see our cameramen are getting into it as well, as are the fans and the kids with the thunder sticks, I think they call those things.
You know, I wonder if the fans know we're here. I noticed they haven't been bringing us hot dogs and nachos and Cokes.
We'll have to work on that.
We'll have to work on that. No, it's great to be here. Just a privilege to watch this good a brand of football. You brought up Jordan Mosley a little while ago. Jordan was making a statement when we were doing our visit. He's from Spring Valley, South Carolina. And he wanted to make sure that I knew that South Carolina, he got a degree. He's one of the sports management degrees, but he talked about a marketing tag, like if you're from Texas, or if you're from Georgia, or if you're from Arkansas, or Ohio, or Michigan, that maybe you're better at football. But he says, I want to remind you that Deuce Staley, Jadavian Clowney, George Rogers, Sterling Sharp, Alshon Jeffrey, Marcus Lattimore, Peter Bulwer, and a lot more, plus Jordan Mosley came out of South Carolina. He's really funny, and he's a I told him Eddie was a little bit quiet. Hamilton, I did their interview together, and I said, you have the psychology degree, but this guy's the psychologist.
This guy's putting your degree to work.
No, they were fun. They asked me, they said, well, how come you're doing the broadcast? I said, well, at one time they thought I could talk on the radio and I had a TV show. Really, what was it? And I said, well, I talked about pork bellies and cattle and wheat. And they looked in astonishment. And Troy Evans says, oh, you're the guy from Trading Places. I said, I'm hoping he's talking about Dan Aykroyd. No, we had a good time.
We mentioned that some of the top talent is on the Sioux City Bandits and the Billings Outlaws. Looking at their outstanding players before the game, they have not disappointed. We've seen Lorenzo Brown Jr. still kind of working his way back from that injury from earlier this season. He got back last weekend, but was a little rusty in the first half. He doesn't show too much signs of rust, but I'm sure he would like to have those 2 passes back that he overthrew the open receivers.
Well, that's one thing I brought up with the Outlaws defense is, when Scott Jensen played in Lorenzo's absence, they didn't miss a beat. He doesn't throw, but he runs a little bit better, that sort of thing. But they didn't care. They just said their offense doesn't change, and it didn't.
Well, early on, these 2 teams met, as we said, in the first week of the regular season, and the Sioux City Bandits came out on top 57-44 in a game that was very close. I think the Outlaws may have had the lead at halftime in that game, but Sioux City came back in the second half and had some unanswered scores that proved to be the difference in that game. We were talking to the coaching staff, Rick, about the difference between this game and that game, and it's all the experience that both teams have had under their belt. Now, rather than just their first game, everyone comes in here with 8 games under their belt, and they know the rules. The first time, both the officials and the players and the coaches were kind of feeling out the rules and how close are they going to call it. And the players, we talked with Dylan Donahue after that first game, and he goes, I just didn't know. I kept waiting to have.
Jeff Luke didn't know.
And they didn't know what was going to be allowed, what wasn't allowed. They felt like they were being held a lot, and the coaches had to say, that's not going to get called in this league. You just have to make the adjustments, and I think they have, both of them.
They have. Dylan's biggest challenge was when he was with the Jets and in Western Arkansas, he was an outside linebacker. So he didn't have his hand in dirt. Here he's got his hand in the grass or the turf, but then he could move. He could get an angle, he could get a chip, he could move around. Here he's got to be lined up right on that outside shoulder of that guard, and he said it was just so much different. And now they know those little things. Now they know.
Let's talk a little bit about the Pro Football Hall of Fame banquet coming up. I know you've been working hard on that. You've been Mr. Hall of Fame banquet in Montana ever since the beginning of that, but it's less than a month away now.
June 25th, we're going to golf with NFL players on the 24th. We got room for a few more teams. If somebody in this audience wants to get a hold of us, our website is mtfootballhof.com. That's mtfootballhof.com. All the information is there, but the inductees this year is going to be a little bit different. I think I mentioned before.
Right.
We have 3 players: Shan Schillinger and McElroy from Troy, Montana. Blaine McElmurray.
Blaine McElmurray.
Blaine McElmurray, and then we have Dane Fletcher from Bozeman, who went from Montana State to the Patriots. But then we have some people from Montana that have had great. We have a support category and a legacy category. Jim Sweeney is the legacy player or coach. He's helped so many kids from so many places, Washington State, and of course all his time at Fresno State.
Right.
To get into the NFL, his son, who played for the Dallas Cowboys, was drafted by the Cowboys. He's going to actually do his acceptance, and already the things that he's told us, people that show up at that banquet are going to be in for a treat. You can get tickets still at Universal Athletic, any store in Montana at Universal Athletic, or they can get a hold of me, and that's rmhelmus@hotmail.com. But then the other 3 inductees, one's won Emmy Awards for all the MFL graphics. He's from CMR in Great Falls.
Right.
I mean, and his story is incredible.
I read his story. It's just amazing. He's like a Hall of Famer just from behind the scenes. All
Correct.
the graphics that he's done for the NFL over the years that have just been amazing.
Well, if he was a player, it'd be an MVP award.
Right. And then Robert Dorr, my friend Robert, and his work with the Washington Redskins and the diversity effort throughout the entire, I guess they're the Washington Generals now. Commanders. What are they now?
Yeah, he gave me a pen, and it's still the old Washington Redskins pen. But yeah, his grandfather was the model for the Redskins logo, the previous logo for the Redskins logo.
Right.
But he had 5,000 employees there, and over the course of 6 years, he put a fan experience together that the rest of the league had never seen before. From Browning, Montana. And I don't know if I told you, but the superintendent of schools here in Billings, Greg Upham, was his football coach in Browning.
Is that right?
He was. And I think one of the Schultes from Butte was there at the same time.
Well, I worked with Robert at KTVQ here in Billings. Just a great man. Been still in touch with him through Facebook. Watched his career just blossom and just explode. And now he's into sports consulting. And he relocated down to Denver, but I still keep tabs on him. And I think now he's a Bronco fan.
He's now a Bronco fan. But he still has a contract with Washington.
I think he's a Bronco fan because he's got family members that are Bronco fans. That I haven't talked to him how he switched. I know he's still a Washington fan as well because of his connections.
He did such a great job, and now I believe he's even working with NBA teams. And I don't know if you remember Tough Harris.
Absolutely, from Colstrip.
From Colstrip. Well, he's Northern Cheyenne and Crow and white. So he's had quite a cultural experience, and he shares it. He wears that on his sleeve. But he's a Christian minister. He has a program called One Heart Warriors. So he and Robert have been talking about creating something, co-creating something in the Native American experience or the diversity program in general. And so I'm really excited about that because the 2 of them came together because of the Montana Pro Football Hall of Fame.
I'll run down some of the individual statistics for you fans as we get ready for the second half kickoff. For Sioux City, Lorenzo Brown is 5 of 12 in passing for 59 yards, no touchdowns yet. In the rushing department, Drew Prohaska has rushed 4 times for 10 yards. Kamal Cass 3 times for 19 yards. Fred Bruno twice for 4 yards. Receiving, Brandon Shepard, Drew Prohaska, and Kamal Cass all have 1 reception, and Fred Bruno has 2. For the Outlaws in the passing department, Charles McCullum is 8 of 13 for 85 yards and 3 touchdowns. McCullum has also rushed for 14 yards on 3 carries. Troy Evans has 6 carries for 22 yards. In the receiving department, perhaps the best catch we've seen this year, Tyrone Laughinghouse. He has 3 catches for 32 yards and 1 touchdown, including the last spectacular catch that he caught the ball and flipped over the boards in the end zone at the same precise time. We weren't sure if he had it, and the receiver was right with him. So it's a spectacular play. Hopefully we can watch that a bit later. Jaron McGaw has 2 receptions for 25 yards, and Gary Brown has 4 for 30. Winston Green has kicked off all 3 times for the Outlaws. Greg Connery is 2 for 3 in the field goal department. He missed 1, and he's 1 of 1 in extra points for a total of 7 points. Then we've mentioned that the Outlaws kicking woes, they released Luke Daly a couple weeks ago, and their new kicker, Brett Mathis, had some family issues. So basically they don't have a kicker on the roster. We watched him have kicking tryouts before the game, and they decided we're just going for 2 points. And it's basically been Winston Green doing a pretty good job on the kickoffs.
Excellent job of creating chaos, making that ball flutter, bounce, take high hops, doing an excellent job. I was going to mention one of the things that you and I learned before the game. We'd asked the defensive line coach come over and talk to us. Come to find out it's Stephen Aarons. Well, Stephen played for the Outlaws in 06 and 07. He's from Sunburst, Montana. They played Class C 6-man football. He went to Northern, did well, came here. Now he's a deputy sheriff, and he's a coach. But Lynn Aaron, you mentioned the Montana Pro Football Hall of Fame. Both of us had thought, well, Lynn, Steve reminded, and I knew it, I just had forgotten. But Lynn got drafted by the San Diego Chargers.
This is his dad.
Steve's dad. And then went and played with Edmonton as well. So that was in '73 when he went to San Diego. But right now, Steve's niece or nephew and Lynn's grandson, Trayton Pickering, is starring for the Montana State Bobcats, and he played Class C football in Sunburst, which is really known as the North Toole County Refiners, for anybody that would want to know that. But anyway, it was just a pleasure because neither one of us knew who Stephen Aarons was. I mean, I knew who he was. I just didn't know that was him. I'd never met him. So it's been really a fun week meeting Outlaws players and personnel and staff. One of my nicest, quietest interviews was with Mania Smith, the O-line coach. And he's a legend. He's like a 6-time champion. He's in the Hall of Fame. He and Jeff Luke had played together. He and Claude Davis had played together. And Claude's won 5 Arena League championships. So
he's kind of a legend in his own right.
yes,
He is.
And are you talking about Smith, Mania?
I was saying Claude Davis.
Well, Claude Davis is too. Yep.
Because he played for Salina, he played for Coach O, Ron O'Neill, and he came here, and he's still got lots of friendships on both sides and throughout the league. And everyone, they like to trash talk with him because Claude likes to do his trash talking with the other teams, and some of his past rivals
Sure does.
been up to the task here in the pre-games. Well, halftime entertainment's pretty much over. We've had the Neil Diamond songs. We're about ready to get underway here in the second half. It's the Outlaws 22, the Sioux City Bandits 13. And they are getting ready to rumble here in the second half. Jay Cohn along with Rick Holmes. Rick, of course, has been helped us out on the color commentary throughout the season. We're so lucky to have him with a wealth of information, and your football experience has really come home to roost.
If only I could have played, huh?
Yeah, you're the Belt Montana product, right?
Belt Huskies, BVHS. Well, actually, I graduated from Great Falls High. Sonny Holland, legend down at Montana State University, was coached 1 year. Had said, "Do you have a mother that lives in Great Falls?" Yeah. Well, he says, "Why don't you come in there and play with the Bison?" And I'm thinking, Mighty Blue Bison, little box score belt. I'll go there.
And that led to a football career for you at Eastern Montana College here in Billings.
To be honest with you, it's the first time in my life I thought about going to college. I was going to go to work for $2.15 an hour like all my friends did. Get a 63 Chevy Super Sport and think I was really living. But
you'd like to have that Chevy Super
yes,
Sport right now.
I couldn't afford it. No. But no, it was a great turning. I mean, it's one of those things in life where a sport changes the direction of your life, and it has for many of these players. And I think that's why I'm so passionate about the Montana Pro Football Hall of Fame. It's a way to give back to communities. It's a way to let future generations know what successful programs are like here in Montana.
I love watching the players dance around here to the music, but they don't have their helmets on, so you can kind of see what they look like. You know, once they put those helmets on, they all look alike. But get Charles McCollum, Denarius Antoine here.
If they show Anthony trying to do the icky shuffle, I'm not watching. That's something you can't unsee.
That's great, though, to see them with their helmets off and the fans can get a look at.
They sure look loose. I hope they know.
Yeah, we got another half here.
I hope they know there's.
I'm sure they do. They're
30 minutes of football left to go.
They seem that Theo has them pretty well grounded. One thing we have, Theo did tell us there wasn't going to be a lot of rotations in this game. It was pretty much going to be all hands on deck. And we've pretty much seen that they, in some of the past games, they had a lot of players that were sidelined for those games. They let people heal up. I think the Outlaws are probably as healthy right now as they've been all season, which is amazing to say 8 games into the season.
Yeah, injuries have taken a toll at times, but they're all healthy now. One of the players that's not suited up, which you'd love to see, is Nate out of Western Montana.
Nate Simpkins.
Simpkins. I think he's one. They have 25 players on the team, but only 21 of them can be suited up, and I think Nate's one of the ones sitting it out tonight.
Just an outstanding young man from the Western Montana Bulldogs.
Yeah, to think that he was, what, 7 months ago, he was still suited up for the Western Montana Bulldogs. He truly is a rookie. That was an interesting story with Nike when I was talking with Nike. Good.
Right.
He's young, he's a rookie, and boy, they got on him to produce, and he did. He really stepped up, so congratulations to Nike. Good.
All right, well, let's get underway here in the second half. Winston Green puts his foot in the ball, and the Bandits have it. And they're still loose. Number 2 getting tackled at the 25-yard line.
Fred Bruno is just tough to bring down.
He is a tough hombre and some quick moves.
He's got a lot of Arena League experience. He knows how to play the game.
And the Bandits are in business. They're going to start the second half on the Billings half of the field. They trail 22-13. So we'll see both teams come back after halftime, well rested, ready to do battle here in the second half. It's been an even contest. Antonio Lorenzo Brown Jr. has just been a little bit off in his passing. He'd be the first to tell you that. And he's want to see if they can shore it up here in the second half. Outlaws defense has different ideas. Here goes Brown, back to pass. Deep over the middle. The receiver fell down, and there's the flag. The receiver fell down, looked like he might have got shoved, and that's what the officials saw. They called it right away. There's also a flag down at the line of scrimmage as well.
The intended receiver was Lenwood Joyner, 5'7" out of St. Augustine. He's a rookie. They list him at 145, but I'm guessing he's a little heavier than that.
Well, we'll wait and see how the officials sort things out with 2 penalty flags on the field, one near the line of scrimmage and one in the end zone. They seem to be pointing at the Outlaws side of the field, so here comes the call.
Chris Rivers is getting a lot of playing time for the Outlaws tonight out of Minot State.
15, that penalty
He's a
has
new
been
addition to
declined.
the team.
Illegal defense, number 33 on the defense. That penalty has been declined. Pass interference, number 32 on the defense. That's 15 yards from the previous spot. First down.
Well, that was the trifecta for the Outlaws. They had 3 penalties, all against them in the same play. And the one that's going to count is the pass interference in the end zone. Coach Robinson with the Outlaws not convinced.
You know, when we said the Outlaws were a little loose down here, I guess that's going to remind them that there's another 30 minutes to go.
So that'll put the Bandits in business. First and goal, ball at the 7-yard line. They're looking to tack on an early score as we're just underway here in the second half.
About the 8-yard line, looks like.
Brown calls the signals, gives it up the middle. There goes Prohaska again, and he's in for the score, pretty much untouched. Well, Coach Robinson and the Outlaws have to be shaking their heads about that's not how we wanted to start the second half. 3 penalties on one play, and then a untouched run up the middle by Drew Prohaska. It brings the Bandits within 3, and here comes Connery to try to extra point to bring them within 2 points. 13-14, there's the scoreboard, 22-19. The clock now running again. There's Greg Connery, the Special Teams Player of the Week in the CIF, looks to add the extra point. The kick is up, and the kick is good. So they're claw within 2 points, 22-20. The Outlaws will get their chance on offense here in the opening minutes of the second half. So that only took 2 plays for the Bandits to get into the end zone, not counting the kickoff. But the Outlaws kind of stubbed their toe coming out of the halftime festivities. See if they can get it back together here.
That's the only thing they can be happy about is they still have a 2-point lead. You asked where Briarcliff University was earlier. It's also in Sioux City.
Is it?
Which I did not know till now.
So now the Outlaws will get a chance to field this kickoff. We'll see what Connery is. He kicked one out of the end zone over the boards earlier that set up the Outlaws at midfield. The last time he kicked off, he kicked it high and short, which set up a good coverage scheme for the Bandits. Troy Evans back.
You know, I did the interviews with Troy and Josh Betts at the same time, and they both ran about a 4.4, roughly 40. They just ran it real different.
Here's the kickoff by Connery again. Short, it'll be Evans at the 2. Across the 5, outside to the 10-yard line. He's loose on the board, still alive. Across the 20 and into the boards, out of bounds at about the 22-yard line. Nice return there by Evans. Took the ball at about the 2-yard line and returned it 21 yards up to the 23.
He got some good blocks. Actually, Josh Best got a good block for him.
That's one thing we have not seen a kickoff return yet since we've done the home games here, Rick.
That's true.
We've seen an intercepted pass go for a touchdown and some long pass plays. We have not seen a kickoff return. So Charles McCullum hoping to get his team back on the offensive scheme of things. He gets the opening snap of this half, steps around, and he's going to be hit right at the line of scrimmage. Good coverage. That was a coverage sack for sure. And I guess he might have got a half a yard gain, or maybe it won't count as a sack, but
I think he's going to be, when he looks at the film, he's going to be a little sad, though. Troy Evans along the right dashboards had lost his coverage. He didn't have time to find him. So credit the defense.
this time Evans splits out wide to the right side. McGaw and Brown and Laughinghouse off to the left. McCullum looking over the middle, and he finds Gary Brown untouched down to the 12-yard line for a first down.
What an effort.
He's got good hands. That's why he's one of the top receivers for the Outlaws.
And just a great effort, quarterback and receiver, because the defense wasn't out of position.
Gary Brown comes in with 9 touchdowns. He's averaging 37 yards receiving a game. He's got a couple touchdowns to his credit already in this game.
Kevin Ransom had good coverage.
So McCullum checks out the defense, sends his receivers in motion. He's going to give to Evans around the corner. Can he get a block by Laughinghouse down near the goal line? And he's out of bounds right at the marker, just short of the goal line. Great block there by Tyrone Laughinghouse along the boards.
Is he going to get a first down out of it? It's going to be close.
I believe so.
They got a first down. Great block. Great block on the corner.
So here's McCullum, and he's going to keep it. And the ball's on the floor. Oh, that was a miss handoff as Evans and McCullum had a little mix-up in the backfield. Charles jumped on it before the Bandits could get it.
That was a complete effort by Zach Schlugger, the 6', 245 middle linebacker from Morningside.
Outlaws 22, Bandits 20. The Bandits took the opening kickoff and scored in 2 plays here in the second half. Outlaws trying to return the favor. They just had it 1st and goal at the 1, but a mix up in the backfield on the handoff backs him up to about the 9-yard line. So let's see what the call is on offense here. McCullum is going to throw or is he going to run? He's dancing around, throws over in the corner, and it's McGaw at the corner. Touchdown for the Outlaws. Jaron McGaw. He is tough to cover. He finds the open spot. And give McCullum credit for dancing around long enough to find him.
Well, give Jackson and Ramirez and Nike some credit.
We're giving him that time.
That might be as long as I've ever seen the D line held up.
Well, McCullum's run a couple, so they have to keep him honest on the goal line. They just can't come rushing in there, and bought himself enough time to find Jaron McGaw open in the right corner, and he's sure-handed and hauled it in. So it's a 28-20 lead now.
Well, Dejon Emery's the DN, number 15, has been leading the league in sacks, and he was held out.
Back up quarterback.
He got in again.
I think that's Jamario Benson, the backup quarterback on the run there. And again, he had to tough it out at the goal line to see if he could get in, and he did. So the Outlaws add 2 points and give themselves a 10-point lead. So at this point, Rick, we were very concerned about the kicking game. Going for 2 points has come out to be that in the Outlaws' favor here.
We thought that the edge might go
to the Bandits.
To the Bandits for having a kicker, but the 2 points, if they are successful on 2 points, it's to their advantage. Schlugger was there, but on that 2-point run, but the execution was too good.
Here comes the touchdown again. Watch the replay. Look how much time he has. 1001, 1002, 1003, 1004. And there's McGaw open in the corner. Decent coverage.
Yeah, as we mentioned, Kevin Ransom was right there.
So again, give the line to the offense, the credit to the offensive line that gave him all kinds of time there.
And on the twist that the defense put on the
Winston Green with a good kick. Now he broke a tackle and he's loose along the boards.
You just can't bring Fred Bruno down with one tackle. He's too good.
Yeah, I thought the Outlaws had set themselves up nicely as Winston Green's kick took a big bounce, not once but twice, went off the fingertips, but Bruno was there to haul it in.
And they spend a lot of time. We were told by the coaches that Sioux City spends a lot of time on special teams. I don't have the stat on what their return yardage is, but it's good.
Right. So 8 minutes and 30 seconds left here in the third quarter. You can see the fans enjoying the action here inside the First Interstate Arena, Metro Park in Billings, where it's a perfect night for indoor football because it's been raining most of the day, cloudy. I would think pretty much your typical Memorial Day weekend weather here. But what a better way to
have a barrel racer, rope it or something outside, it'll rain.
So timeout on the field as the two teams discuss it. The officials have had a busy game, I can tell you that much. We've seen a few more penalties and big penalties on both teams that have turned out to be momentum shifts as a result. So let's see what Lorenzo Brown Jr. has in store now as he comes back with his offense. They'll put the ball in play at just over the 13-yard line, their own 13-yard line. Dylan Donahue trying to rev up the crowd, and he's doing a good job of that, but here comes the play now. Brown running for his life over the middle.
Uh-oh, there's going
It's
to be a
gonna
pick.
Intercepted at the goal line.
Devontae Brown with the pick.
Is there a penalty flag down?
I don't see one. There was a little push after. I don't like the way Devontae's holding his groin. Hope he's not hurt. There comes another football into the audience.
Well, there is a penalty
Penalty
flag.
brought to you by Shaw.
So it's against the Outlaws, so that negates the interception.
Great play by Devontae. Great coverage. What was the penalty?
I did not see it. Must have been 5-yard penalty because it's 1st and 5 now. They put the ball in play at the 23. Brown to give again. This is Cass, Kamal Cass up the middle. Broke off right tackle across midfield inside the Bandits. Really working hard. Now they've got it inside the 20.
Nice job by the motion man, Fred Bruno, blocking in the middle. Kind of created the crease.
Yeah, Devontae Brown he's not out there now, so he must be a little shaken up. Looked like he pulled a groin or something on that interception at the goal line.
Yeah, Best, Billy, Rivers all out there.
Damon Powell, the receiver on the play, and it's complete, and he gets it down inside the 15-yard line.
Powell's from the University of Iowa.
So that brings up second and 2, maybe 3, call it 3. Ball at the 10-yard line. Now Devontae Brown is back in there, so it must be okay. Here's the running play to Fred Bruno again across the 10.
It's awful close
Down
to the first down.
close to the goal, or to the line to gain.
Boy, Jeff Luke took Frank to the ground all the way across the line of scrimmage. What a tough play by Jeff Luke. They did get the first.
So it's 1st and goal in the red zone for the Bandits. They trail by 10. Clock running with 6:08 left here in the third quarter. Here's the give to Prohaska. And he goes off to left tackle and scores. Excuse me, that's Kamal Cass with the touchdown.
Winston Green tried to get there, couldn't get there. It was a great change of direction at the line of scrimmage. Everything was bottled. It was meant to go right up over the center. But he
Busted out. Went one-on-one and got past Green into the end zone for the score. 30-26 now. Clock is running. The Bandits try this extra point with Greg Connery to pull within 3. Trail by 4. It's been a back and forth. Both teams answering the other team's score. That's pretty much how we stand right now. Here's the kick. Kick is up and good by Connery. And so they're a field goal away right now. It's 30 for the Bandits, or 30-27. Outlaws lead the Bandits. 5:21 left here in the third quarter. Don't go anywhere, fans. This is gonna be a heck of a second half. It already is. Both teams have had success on their opening possessions. Bandits have scored twice now. Outlaws once. So we'll see how this all plays out as Connery will get set to kick off again. You can see Dylan Donahue trying to catch a breather, not happy about that last possession. So the Bandits looked to have thrown an interception at the goal line, but there was a infraction against the Outlaws that negated that play, and the Bandits took advantage and marched it right down, put it in the end zone on a running play to Kamal Cass, who's proved his worthy tonight. He's had a nice game.
Well, the Outlaws have had to use their passing game tonight because Sioux City has really got their running game bottled up. They just don't have many rushing yards yet tonight. But that, who knows yet what's going to happen. It should be this way the rest of the way.
Here's that high short kick. Evans in the end zone, takes it, crosses the 5.
Nowhere
He's
to
in
go.
trouble right there, and he'll be stopped at the 5-yard line. Didn't have much room to work with. So that's where the Outlaws will put it in play here as the final 5 minutes of the third quarter.
That's a real advantage.
That high
Jay.
kickoff, yeah.
When you can kick it that high, your coverage team gets down so far before you start returning it. And the Outlaws aren't going to be able to do that. But those our kickoff, the Outlaws kickoffs are effective for not having a kicker.
Yeah. So
doing a
Connery
good
has been kicking that from their goal line to the other goal line, just real high. And so, as you mentioned, giving the coverage time to get down there. Evans was staring at almost the whole Bandit defense from 5 yards away when he finally touched that ball. He had nowhere to go.
Yeah, the coverage really, he kicked to his coverage, went to his kick. We had some Outlaw players downfield, but coverage was already down Detroit, down to 5. That's just great execution by a kicker and a kicking team. And again, I'll say it, the coaches told us before the game that Sioux City spends a lot of time on special teams. And that's one aspect of the game. Offense, defense, special teams.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter if it's the CIF or the USFL or the NFL, all aspects of the game come to play.
Or Class C football in Belton, Montana.
Absolutely. Special teams are a big deal. Outlaws dying to get the ball, and they have it now at the 5-yard line. They've got the media timeout over with.
Gary Brown's the receiver on the line.
Laughing House on the other side. Now in motion. Here's a quick pass to Gary Brown. He's loose on the sidelines and over the 15 down to the 18-yard line.
I think we got Laronje Vason fooled a little bit on that play.
He recovered in time to make the touchdown, or to make the tackle.
Made the tackle.
But Brown had ideas of breaking that all the way. So it's a first down on that play for the Outlaws. McCullum surveys the situation, and now the receivers, McGaw and Evans in motion. McCullum, oh, what a catch. What a catch by
I think it
Evans.
hit the ground, I think.
Oh, they say it was incomplete.
I think it skipped, but I'm not sure.
Get some new runs.
Evans thinks he made the catch. Hard to tell from this angle, but you can. They might check it. They're going to check the replay. So we'll check the replay as the officials come to the sideline to.
Coverage there by Xavier Spann, and he's one of the best defensive backs in the league from Morningside College right there in Sioux City.
I'm just seeing once they get the replay here. Well, they're looking at it over in the corner. And I can see on our other piece of equipment over here. Here it is. And I think he caught it. I think he got his hand underneath that, but it's hard to tell. Here it goes again. Let's see what they.
Oh, it does look like it.
Yeah.
It does look like he caught it.
Hard to tell there. The official was behind him. We'll get one more look at it here. Different angle here. McCullum almost I think he got his hand underneath that.
It sure looks like it there.
But we'll see what the officials see.
The linesman was looking right in from the dashers right at it. So.
Okay, so they're going to come out and tell us what they saw.
Sean O'Daniel, wait for the call, State Farm Insurance.
After further review, it has been determined that the ball was caught. First down from the 23.
Good job by the officials. Good job by our camera crew to, just from the angle here, it looked to me like he got his hand at my first blush look at it. Of course, that can be deceptive as well. So that brings up second down and about 4. Line to gain is the 23-yard line.
Well, you got to credit Nike Gooden, the rookie, the job he's doing on Dejon Emery. Emery leading the league in sacks. I don't think he has one yet tonight.
No, I don't believe so. I stand corrected. They had not moved the goal, the yard markers yet. Now they move it, so it's first down. And the ball is at the 24-yard line of Sioux City, just over the midfield stripe. Brown, Laphouse, McGaw. The receivers. The give is to Evans. Makes a quick move at the line of scrimmage. There's still spinning, and he's loose along the edge. Down inside the 10-yard line. There's that patented spin move of it.
The
Troy
whirling
Evans.
dervish, as the lineman called him. He was all of that and then some. He changes the complexion of their offense since the first game.
Boy, does he have some quick feet. He broke through the line and was just one-on-one with the defender there, and he just broke to the outside and left the defender in the dust.
Well, I don't know if it was Slugger or Randall Blash, but somebody had him dead to rights, and he just juked him.
First and goal now for the Outlaws. Ball at the 6-yard line. McCullum trying to answer that last score by the Bandits. He gives it to Evans. Crosses in on the 5, down inside. Ooh, almost rolled into the end zone, but he's down short of the goal line.
Kamar Greenhouse was in on the stop, but well, there's a couple of Sioux City players
That
down.
didn't look good.
Greenhouse and Laranji Vason. And I was a little worried about Laranji Vason. He took quite a hit. He ran it head first into the Dashers in that Salina game, and it looked like he got hurt pretty bad, but he came back.
It was really hard to tell what happened in that play, but the two Sioux City players got rolled up on or hit each other, and they're both banged up.
Looks like one's a head, and the other one, I would say maybe Kamara, it's a leg issue.
Rare you'd see two players banged up on the same play. Mason's okay. You're right.
I hope
Looks
they're all
like he
okay.
took a shot to the head.
But that Mason is just an impressive player to me.
They'll both
They're
be
both
okay.
up and they're both walking off.
That's a good sign.
Absolutely.
Ball just inside, right at the 2-yard line. There you can see it in the midfield stripe. That iconic white football, trademark of the Champions Indoor Football League. Hope you're enjoying this streaming broadcast on the CIF network. Here's that quick move by Evans on out to the outside, another spin move, and he gets a big block down there by number 55, your favorite player.
A Slugger and 55, or Slugger and Basin both missed shots on that.
Here is the play. Evans again.
Coaches must have seen something because they're sure going to the run game.
Now, I was talking about Anthony Jackson, the big lineman for the Outlaws, who was moving.
He is one huge man.
He was moving some real estate there. Okay, so this brings up 3rd and goal. It's important. They need to do something. Here's McCullum right up the middle, the fake to Evans, and he runs it across the goal line pretty much untouched. Charles McCullum,
Exactly
the
like
dual
an
threat
11-man.
quarterback.
I'm sorry, Jay.
No, go ahead.
Exactly like an 11-man read option.
Right.
Just read the defense, pull it and go.
As I was saying, a dual threat quarterback makes it so tough, and especially here where you don't have a lot of room to react or room to move. Just one quick move and he's past you. And the fake to Evans kind of froze the defense at the same time. So here comes the 2-point attempt again. A pass over the middle, it's incomplete.
Uh-oh. No flag.
McCullum.
Somebody was hanging on Laughing House, but
Yeah,
looks like it's going to be a no call.
there's no flags down. So
I'm
the
sure
2-point
that's-
conversion. A good sportsmanship by Laughing House. But that puts the Outlaws, the touchdown, up 36-27, back to a 9-point lead with 1:23 to go here in the 3rd quarter. This has been a Donnybrook just what we expected, is both of these top two teams in the CIF going toe-to-toe here inside the First Interstate Arena. And the fans that are here tonight getting their money's worth for sure.
Xavier's Span and Tyrone Laughinghouse are having quite a that's a kind of a game within a game, those two. The best of the best. Both sides of the football.
So here comes the kicking game again for the Outlaws. Winston Green will be kicking off. We'll see how he does here. He's been trying to squib kick it, which has proved to be effective. But Fred Bruno, the last couple times, has been able to get his hands on that ball, and the little wide receiver is shifty and tough to bring down.
And Cass and Span and the middle has been doing a great job of blocking.
Ball is
there's a
loose on the
ball.
ground.
I think that might have been Bruno. Maybe.
Recovered there by Kamal Cass.
Cass, that's who it was.
And again, that kickoff short sets up the Bandits inside Outlaw territory at the 20-yard line. Makes it a big difference when you only have to go 20 yards versus 45.
Those are the little things that get you in a championship game. And that's, you know, Green, as good as he's been doing, not getting it past the middle. That's just execution, and he just hasn't done it before.
All right, so here come the Bandits. Clock is running less than a minute here in the third quarter. Brown is going to give up the middle once again.
Jeff Luke with the stop.
Drew
Davis was
Prohaska,
in there.
the running back there. Not much gain. No gain. Well, now they readjust it. Give him about a yard and a half on that. Brings up second and call it 8. Line to gain at the 10-yard line. Brown throws and is complete to Brandon Shepard.
Rivers way late in getting there. Nice play.
Those quick passes are tough to defend, I'll tell you.
Yeah, but that was a timing play, and
Yep.
Lorenzo executed it to perfection.
So the Bandits have it first and goal, and that's the end of the third quarter as the clock runs out. When we come back for the fourth quarter of action, the Bandits will have it at the Outlaws' 6-yard line, first and goal. 36-27 the score here at the end of the third quarter. And the Outlaws and Bandits doing exactly what we thought. It's a toe-to-toe battle for supremacy here in the CIF. And the winner of this game will have pretty much put themselves in the driver's seat to have home field advantage through the playoffs. Both teams have qualified for the 6-team CIF playoff. The question is, where will they go in as what seed and who gets to play at home throughout? Both teams still have a game left next weekend. The Outlaws travel down to take on the Wyoming Mustangs, who pulled off a big win last night over the Southwest Kansas Storm. So 15 minutes of CIF football to go. I hope you're enjoying this streaming down in Sioux City and here in the Magic City of Billings. Outlaws proving to be everything the Bandits had expected and then some, perhaps. Both these teams met again way back in the opening weekend of the season, and that was a Sioux City victory, 57-44. We'll see. Right now it's 36-27. The Outlaws have the lead, but the Bandits are going to start the fourth quarter here with the ball at the 6-yard line of Billings.
One or the other of them will have 50 in this game. We just don't know what the other score will be.
Right. Well, the Outlaws will be home again next weekend, finish up their regular season with 2 home games. That'll be a pleasure. Here come the Bandits. The give is to Prohaska. Oh, it's Lorenzo Brown.
Read
Fake me out
option.
from here. That read option again. You said it, Rick. And boy, they have the Outlaws number on that play.
Even you or I could have run that one
everyone went with the fake handoff. That's what I thought they were going to do from here.
I don't know if it was Cass or Prohaska, but the fake was good. The ball handling was good.
So here's Connery again. Bring the Bandits within 2, 36-33. Your current score. Connery looks to add another point. Here's the snap, the hold's down, and the kick is good.
I'm not sure. Oh, yeah. Must have been close. Now that's interesting. That's a 2-point, and we can't kick a field goal. So those extra points are going to make a difference in the game.
Right. So you look at those goalposts; they're 10 yards wide, and that's a tough kick. If you look at it and go, oh, I could do that. Well, we watched the Outlaws do a little kicking practice before the game, and it's way tougher than you think it is.
Is that what you called that?
They were just having fun. I think they knew what the plan was going in all along, but just in case.
Well, I'm hoping we get a game with Salina, because that'll make my day. James Allen, their kicker, drop kicked one.
Right.
For a 4-pointer.
We were talking about the drop kick earlier, and that's awesome.
That bring back the oldies, 50, 60 years ago.
All right, well, right now I think you'd have to say Sioux City has the momentum. They trail by 2, 36-34, 14-14 left. But they've come out here in the second half and have really put it to the Outlaws defense. The Outlaws have scored, but not to the extent that the Bandits have.
Conray's bringing the ball over here to the outside the right hash, so I think he's going to kick it high again. I'm not sure. Yeah.
Josh Best and Evans back deep. It'll be Evans at the goal line. Breaks outside at the 10. Still on his feet and darts to the boards right on the other side of the 15-yard line.
Decent return. When he sets the ball up over here so far out to the right, he tries to get by that scoreboard, and he does.
Right, as you know, here in the Metro and as in many of the arenas, the scoreboard hangs from the center of the field. It's quite high up there, but nothing that a field goal kicker can't hit with the football. So Connery has to kick from one side or the other.
Well, here's kind of where the wills start to show up, Jay. Who can will themselves through this fourth quarter?
Well, let's see what McCullum and company have in store. Pass complete. That's Laughing House. They've done a pretty good job on him. He's made got one great catch.
Their secondary, I haven't seen Solomon St. Pierre in there, but Laurenti Basin, Xavier Spann, they're just as good as there are in the league. Kevin Ransom plays well.
Gain of 3 yards on that first down play, so it brings up 2nd and 7. Across the middle, wide open is Evans, down to the 22-yard line. That'll be enough for a first down.
Out of the backfield. That was one of the nice things in the interview with Troy. He said, I don't care how, it's not yards for me, it's total yards. However I get him, however I help the team, and he's just as good as a receiver as he is a runner.
And that's the key in the CIF and indoor football. Most of these players play 1, 2, or in some cases 3 different positions with the active roster of only 21 players. McCullum has Gary Brown over at the boards across the 15 to the 14-yard line. Brown has 3 touchdowns already in the game.
Xavier was close, but great route, great throw, just great execution. But we still don't have any sacks for Emory, which
right.
I just love what Nike's doing over there tonight.
So McCullum sets the receivers in motion. He looks, and it's Laughing House in the end zone for the score, and the flags fly as well. We'll see what the penalty is.
I think it's got to be defensive pass interference. I don't know that.
Well,
Ransom or I don't know if it was Greenhouse or Ransom, had a hand on his arm, and he still caught the ball.
Laughing House is taking it down, throwing it under the upper deck.
I'm guessing he's thinking it's defensive. It's a little embarrassing if it's going to be on him. No, looks like they're letting it stand.
It's a touchdown.
Wow.
Would you say Laughing House got the last laugh in that exchange?
Jay.
Okay.
Yes, Jay. I'm giving that one to you.
Okay, so the Outlaws tack on 6 points. Now they're going to go for 2 again.
And this is a big 2.
Big 2. They lead it by 8 right now, 42-34. Here's McCullum. The receivers go in motion. Here comes the play across the middle. It goes for naught. Incomplete. And the lots of pressure on McCullum. Didn't have but a second to look up. He just had to get rid of it.
Zach Slugger is just, when he blitzes, he just times it so well. He's just a really good player. It's no wonder he was a Cliff Harris nominee. But I'm not sure what Troy was thinking. I think he and Charles must have been on a different page.
Yeah, McCullum only had enough time to go, uh-oh. This guy's coming at me untouched. He had to get rid of it.
He sure did. But I know he expected Troy to continue the route, and he broke it off.
All right, so it's going to be up now to the Outlaws defense, or is it going to be up to the Sioux City offense? We'll see how they square off here with 11:29 left. It's 42-34, Billings over Sioux City. But the exciting part of this fourth quarter yet to come.
And now it's getting down to the point where you can start counting. It's 8 points now, and for them to have the not home field all the way through, but to have the advantage in the playoffs,
they need to win
by
by 14
or more. So it's 8 points now. So their defense needs to come up with a stop. That's what it amounts to. They can't trade touchdowns.
I think they'd take a victory no matter how many points.
Absolutely.
It'd be nice to get the 14. There's the kick by Winston Green. Bounces a couple times. And down
by
Fred
is that
Bruno.
Josh Best?
Yep.
Wow. He showed some speed there. When I was talking with he and Troy, they both said they ran about 4.40s. I said, but they look a lot different. My legs are going, bup, 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 bup. And he says, Troy's just striding out. Or Josh is just striding out.
Troy gets about five strides to
Josh's 2.
Yeah.
It was funny.
All right, so 11 minutes. The clock is running. And the Sioux City Bandits trail by 8. Ball at their own 11-yard line. Lorenzo Brown Jr. looking to see if he can keep the momentum going. The Bandits have answered the Outlaws' momentum so far, looking to seize the advantage here. He's going deep. Brown has his receiver, but he overthrows Fred Bruno down at the 12-yard line. Good defense play there.
Stewart is lucky. He was beat by a couple steps.
Rashawn Stewart trailing the play as they talk to each other on the way back. Brings up 2nd and 10.
That was a great route. I'm not sure. I think it was Rivers that at the line of scrimmage gave Bruno a push, but it was still a flag route, and he ran it well.
Let's see if the Outlaws can put some pressure on Brown. Has really not been. It's a give to up the middle. Wow. That's Kamal Cass again, and he went untouched for about 15 yards. The Outlaws
Eakins and Rivers on the stop.
Over the midfield stripe into Outlaws territory. Well, it's going to rest right at the 25-yard line, so clock is running. 9 minutes and 40 seconds to go and counting. Crowd trying to fire up the defense here for the hometown Outlaws. Brown has Cass in the backfield with him. Fakes the handoff, goes deep. Did he catch it? He did catch it. It's a touchdown. Damon Powell from Iowa. He disappeared behind the fans down in the corner. I couldn't tell from this angle if he caught it or not, but he did hold on to it. And just like that, 2 or 3 plays is all it took, and the Bandits are in the end zone again.
And that's starting to show up. That's about the 3rd big play, and that's what Theo Johnson
And here
was
they
afraid
go.
of.
They're going to go for 2 to try to tie it up right here. See if they can gain the upper hand. Lorenzo Brown Jr. in the shotgun, standing at his own 8-yard line. He fakes the handoff. He has all kinds of time over the middle, and it's a 2-point conversion complete. Again, Brandon Shepard, the receiver, broke in the open in the right corner of the end zone, and that'll tie the game 42-42 with 8:35 to go. And yes, I think you can say the momentum resting with Sioux City right now. They've really come out to play here in the second half. Not like the Outlaws haven't, but right now you'd have to give the momentum shift to the Bandits.
Yeah, they haven't faltered. You know, they haven't gotten nervous. They just keep their focus. Their composure is the same, been all the way through the game.
And they were able to cash in on that 2-point conversion from Lorenzo Brown to Brandon Shepard. The Bandits trailed at halftime by 9. And now they've come back to tie it up 42 all. Well, this game is definitely not disappointing, and it's been a lot of fun to be part of. Hope you're enjoying it as you watch along with us.
Looks like Conray's going to kick it high again. It's been working well for him.
Yeah.
Don't change what's working.
Evans and Josh Best are back deep.
Slugger's getting a workout. He's on kickoff teams and plays ferocious defense. Executed well again, maybe. Uh-oh, now what do you do? A fan caught it.
A fan caught it. It didn't go over the boards. Let's see. The rule is if the ball goes over the backboards without touching anything, the opposing team would get it at midfield at the 25. Let's see where the call is. Now they're going to give it to him at the 5-yard line.
It's on the 5-yard line, first down, Billings.
Yeah, it
This
didn't
will
go over
also
the
be
boards. The
the
fan
first
actually
media
reached
timeout.
over. You could see that was legit. It was close.
I wish the fan would have left it alone.
He should have left it alone.
But great kick by, great execution by Greg Conry. That's why I think he's the best kicker in the league. He does a lot of things well.
Well, the first half, the Outlaws had the advantage with the 2-point conversions, but they've not been able to convert the last 2, and that has been a difference of 4 points. So it's looming large as we look at the last 8.5 minutes of play. The Lady Outlaws trying to fire up the fans with the immediate timeout.
What do you bet there's another good place kicker comes out of 4th grade at Hinton, Iowa, because he's teaching them how to kick the ball during class.
Let's hope so. And we were watching the Outlaws do their kicking practice before the game to see if they might have someone that can kick a field goal. And you watch the good kickers, and it looks so easy. And it is anything but easy. It's really a hard thing. It takes a lot of practice, and it's all technique. Got to have a strong leg as well, but that's not the only thing. So here we go. As soon as the Lady Outlaws get off the field, they're going to get back in business here. Well, the Outlaws deep in their own territory, down at their own 5-yard line. Kind of a nervous atmosphere in here right now inside the Metro. They've seen the Outlaws have a lead that at one point looked to be fairly comfortable. Now it's all tied up. So McCullum, see if he can get the offense untracked again. Looks over the middle, and he finds Evans at the 14-yard line, tackled immediately. That'll be close to the first down, just about a yard shy.
They're having great success with that play. About 10 yards and turn in. Charles delivers it on time. Tough one to defend.
So it's 2nd and 1. Pick up a first down for the Outlaws. Here's McCullum. He's going to have to run it. And he has a blocker to boot. Across the 20, still on his feet, down to the 17-yard line. He held the ball out like I might pass it. Kind of had to freeze the defense. And all of a sudden he was in the open.
He pointed and the deputy sheriff was in the way, Devin Groningen. So he points to Troy and says, "Here, go get him." And he did. He gets an extra 10 yards.
The deputy sheriff was in the way. It's the great thing about the CIF. All these players have other jobs. And in that case, that young man is a deputy sheriff there in Sioux City. There goes Laughinghouse. And now the give to Evans across the middle. He's still on his feet with that spin move, and a flag flies as he gets down to the 15. Let's see what the penalty's about.
Penalties tonight brought to you by Shadow State Farm. Wait for the call. Penalty.
McCullum talking to
Holding,
the
number
holding
54 on the
against
offense. 10 yards from the
Ramirez.
previous spot. First down.
So holding is the call against the Outlaws. That was a first down play, so that'll back them up 10.
The second half has certainly been cleaner in that regard than the first half. Not a lot of penalties here in the second half.
So the Outlaws shoot themselves in the foot there with a holding penalty on first down. So now it's 1st and 20.
Ben Pfister from Missouri Southern has been playing well over Ramirez.
All right, let's see if McCullum can get the play. Oh, he's going to be sacked right there. Let's see who got that. Number 15. That's Emery.
There's a defensive hand play called a swim move that Pfister just executed to perfection. Push him back, push him sideways, swim an arm over the top, and you're in the backfield.
So the Outlaws, after picking up a first down, have gone backwards. First on a holding penalty, now with a sack. And they find themselves with 2nd down and 25 yards to go just to get a first down. McCullum looking, throwing it deep. And there's some hand motion, and they're going to call that pass interference. Holding on Laughinghouse was breaking to the outside.
And there's no doubt about that. Kamar Greenhouse held him the last 10 yards. The Louisiana Lafayette graduate, 6'1", 180. Greenhouse knew that.
It was either that or he was going to catch the touchdown. He had to grab him somehow.
Right. They can argue all they want, but that was catchable. They're arguing that it was uncatchable. It sure looked like it was catchable from here.
We got coaches on the field.
Interference on the defense. 15 yards from the previous spot. First down.
Automatic first down.
Wow, what a break. Well, let's see if the Outlaws can take advantage of it.
So that moves the ball down to the 16-yard line, just outside the 16. 1st and 10. I'd like to say in the red zone, but with the field only 50 yards wide, anytime you get over halfway in the field, you're pretty much in the red zone. So maybe we'll count the red zone and the CIF inside the 10. Am I making that up?
It's okay. I think this is the red zone. They can score from anywhere.
Yeah, I agree. The whole field's the red zone. McCullum sends the motion over in the corner. Oh, it went right through the hands of Evans.
Great
Troy
throw.
Evans.
That's one of the few you'll see him drop.
Kevin Ransom was there on the defense, but Evans had it.
Great throw,
He
great
knows it.
route.
And the clock is continuing to run, down to just 5 minutes left. So this is looming large, this possession by the Outlaws. Score is tied, 42-all. We might get to see how the overtime rules work out, Rick.
Well, I'd be surprised if we do. Extra points here.
Yeah, we'll see.
There's going to be 2 or 3 touchdowns yet, I think.
All right, McCullum says, boys, let's do it again. Second and goal, across the middle. Gary Brown has it inside the 10, close down to the 6-yard line, right?
Wow. Look at Laughing House down here. He didn't see him.
We had
Wowzer.
2 receivers in this end of the
He did.
end zone that were nowhere.
From the previous spot. Second down.
Oh, they called the Outlaws.
Was it holding again?
It was. So
To just get out of the hole and get
battle,
right back in it.
yeah, battle of penalties right now.
These are the things in an arena game that, and they know it, the coaches know it, and the players know it, is the mistakes are so magnified in this small field. So little mistakes like that, you just don't make in championship games.
So the holding penalty against Billings backs him up again. Now the ball on their side of the midfield stripe. They need to get down to the 6, and it brings up second down. Evans in the backfield with McCullum. And the 2 receivers go in motion. McCullum looking and overthrows everyone, intended for Gary Brown right at the 5.
Double coverage between Ransom and Laranji Vason.
So big third down coming up here. 3rd and 20. Clock running. 3 minutes, 35 seconds left here in the final 4th quarter. Game is all knotted up at 42 apiece. Fans starting to make some noise. Laughing House and McGaw go in motion.
Some
Low
confusion
snap.
in the defense,
McCullum
too.
throws over the middle, and it's picked off at the 7-yard line. And away he
Mason.
goes off to the races. Number 12 still alive for Sioux City down inside the 5.
Richard Ramirez finally with the stop.
That's Vason, number 12. McCullum let that fly, and you'd like to have that one back.
He's that player I was telling you about that's just so inspirational to me, the way he plays. All heart. Not very big.
All right, so the Bandits have it inside the Outlaws 10-yard line down at the 8. And the defense is got their back against the wall here. That was not what you had in mind for the Outlaws. They had a couple different opportunities, a couple of big penalties there, cost them dearly, and then an ill-advised pass down the middle, and McCullum had to get rid of it. But there was no one around other than the defenders.
Good news is there's still almost 3 minutes left, and they could get a turnover here. I mean, the Outlaws could.
Outlaws trying to return the favor. It's Lorenzo Brown running inside the 5. He's going to go in untouched for the score.
Same play, same read option play they scored last quarter. All kinds of room.
Well, we told you that Lorenzo Brown Jr. came in with 6 rushing touchdowns, and he's got that one plus a 2-point conversion earlier. Maybe it might have been his 2nd rushing touchdown.
That's the 2nd rushing touchdown.
So 48-42.
Extra point to come. So
Sioux
here we
City.
go with kickers. Now we got to come down, or Outlaws come down and score. And then you need an extra point.
A kicking game could come back to haunt you. Connery, extra point is up and good.
Right down the middle.
So it's a 7-point advantage here as the Sioux City Bandits take advantage of a late interception. Vason with the interception and returned it all the way down to the 8-yard line. And then it was Lorenzo Brown Jr. with the fake handoff and just ran untouched into the end zone. Outlaws looking to get fired up here. They still have 2:40 left. They're trailed by 7 now, 49-42.
Plenty of time.
Time really is on both teams' side here.
That's not an issue yet.
So Connery coming down to kick off again. We'll see if their previous strategy will play out again. He's been kicking it high and short, letting his defenders run down and set up their coverage as his high kicks taking a while to get down there.
Looks like he's going to use the altitude kick again past the scoreboard. Gary Brown and Denarius Antoine in the middle again.
Here's that high kick. He just missed the scoreboard into the end zone. Evans will run it out across the 10 and barely gets across the 5, I should say. And that's where they'll put it in play with 2:36 left to go here in the fourth quarter.
Two guys right in the middle, Slugger and Mintz with the tackle.
Yeah, it was a very effective kickoff, the most effective we've seen in the games we've done here in Billings. That high, that time he almost hit the scoreboard and went right past the upper scoreboard that hangs over the middle of the field here at the First Interstate Arena.
I'm guessing I was a little closer to it than he'd planned.
Yeah. So
let's see what kind of offense they come up with. Long drive here and 2-point conversion and go a long way.
That would be exactly what the doctor ordered for the Outlaws.
Low snap.
Low snap. And the
nice move. Are you kidding
Gary
me?
Brown. And he gets it out to the 15. He had a nice move there. Clock is running.
Xavier Spann, and it's hard to juke Xavier Spann.
2 minutes and running. The clock says here at the First Interstate Arena.
Vason in the secondary. Kevin Ransom in the secondary. Mintz.
Can the Outlaws come up with a score? McCullum incomplete, intended for McGaw at the 19-yard line. It looks like the Bandits have really got a good thing going with their defense. Well, the big man is down for the Outlaws. Then Anthony Jackson. It is.
It looks like it.
So Sioux City leading the league with a 7-1 record. Looking to move that to 8-1. Billings trying to tie it up. They come in with a 6-2 record. They'd love to leave here with a 7-2 record to match that of Sioux City. But right now, the Bandits have the upper hand, scoring in the last minute and a half of the action here.
Looks like they're bringing Nike Gooden in to replace Jackson. Jordan Mosley's having a nice, quiet, solid night tonight.
Well, the big play here, a couple of holding penalties against the Outlaws in their last possession, moved them out of scoring position to the point where McCollum on 3rd and long threw a long pass down that was intercepted at about the 2-yard line by defensive back Lauranje Vason, and he returned it all the way down to the 6-yard line, and it just took one play for the Bandits to cash in on that opportunity as Lorenzo Brown Jr. faked the handoff and ran untouched into the end zone. Then Gary Connery added the extra point, and that's where we stand right now. The Bandits lead it 49-42. Jackson still trying to get to his feet. He'll get a big round of applause here. The fans appreciate him.
Well, Nike and Ramirez and Mo, and got to keep putting together that solid night up front.
All right.
Mo has kept Emery out of the backfield almost all night.
So McCullum looking for some magic here on 3rd down. Looking over the middle. Oh, and it was nearly intercepted as McGaw went down at the 25. Pass was thrown behind him and almost intercepted. So that brings up 4th down. Outlaws need 2 yards to keep the ball alive. And the clock is running. 1:13, 1:12. It'll stop at 1 minute for the media timeout. Looks like the Outlaws will be suffice to let that happen. There it goes, 1 minute media timeout. So the Outlaws are faced with a 4th down and 2. Ball at the just shy of the 15-yard line. They have to get it up to like the 18-yard line. So it might be as many as 3 yards.
Sure, a long 2.
Yeah, it looks like a long 2. So that's the situation. Outlaw fans on their feet trying to rev up the home team, who had a lead at halftime but couldn't hold on to it. And the Bandits came out like a house of fire. And most of their scoring drives, Rick, here in the second half have been just 1, 2, or 3 plays. They've been in the end zone, just lickety-split.
Yeah, that's been what Theo didn't want, Coach Johnson. He wanted them all be long drives to try to make plays, and the big plays really hurt him. So now it's kind of a coach's guessing game, chess match. As the defensive front going to rush hard, or they're going to sit back and catch with the offense? I mean, they play both ways well. Sioux City plays both ways well.
So with the playoffs looming in a couple of weeks, they begin on the 11th of June. Both teams trying to put themselves in the best playoff position as possible. Right now, Sioux City has the upper hand. It's 4th down and 3. Let's call it a long 2. McCullum, he knows where they've got to get. Receivers in motion. He goes back. He's throwing it deep to Laughinghouse. The penalty flies. Penalty flag is down.
I think they're probably going to get Xavier again. I don't know.
Two flags.
Two flags. I'm not sure now.
Laughinghouse was trying to get outside. There was a lot of hand fighting going on.
Yeah, he certainly got interfered with, but I'm not sure where the other flag came from, so it's hard to say what's going to go on here. The Outlaws seem...
Here's the call.
Illegal contact on the defense, 5 yards from the previous spot, results in a 1st down.
Okay.
Billings.
1st down, illegal hands against the defense. So, new life for the Outlaws. 55 seconds left. They trail by 7. The ball at their own 20.
30 yards from the ability to tie it up, or I guess win it or lose it, because they're going to have to go for a 2-point conversion.
Yep. So McCullum trying to find the right combination to get in the end zone. Over the middle is McGaw. He's wide open, has the catch, across the 20.
They've taken Evans out of the backfield, put him in as a receiver. Here comes
Jackson back.
Jackson again. Nike comes back out.
Maybe that'll give him the time that McCullum needs. Clock is running.
Nike did a good job. He had plenty of time that time. So now it's up to Mo, Ramirez, and Anthony to keep the defense off.
30 seconds
Let
we're out
Charles
and the clock
execute.
is running. 49-42, Bandits lead it. McCullum looking, passes broken up, intended for Evans. And now they say it could be stolen away by Vason. Let's see what the call is.
It was in front of the Dashers, so we couldn't really see it.
I think it was intended for Evans, and the ball popped up and was intercepted right there. Killer result for the Outlaws. Here comes the
Pass is intercepted.
An interception is being reviewed.
Well, they're going to review it as well. They should, but it's going to be a tough angle because it was right along the boards. And from our vantage point here, you really couldn't see what happened.
Sean O'Daniel, State Farm Insurance.
So with 19 seconds left,
Play is in review.
the fans here in the arena seem to think it's over. They're heading for the exits. But I've seen stranger things happen. Let's see how this goes as the officials go to look for the replay here. Ball was intended for McCullum to Troy Evans. The ball hit him in the hands and then popped up. I thought it was incomplete, but here if the ball is against the boards and pops up, it's a live ball.
Right.
And that could be right away. The defender thought it was intercepted. They acted right away. Of course, Trying to look over here on our replay machine to see if they can see anything.
Coach Johnson thinks it's an INT.
You really can't see from this angle as they look at that replay. It would have to be conclusive evidence. Okay, here we get a replay right now. See what we can see. McCollum drops back, throws it. Oh, he undercut him, and I think he did intercept it.
It was McGraw, the intended receiver.
All right, stand corrected there. And that's Lorange Vason, who had the interception earlier.
After review, the call on the field stands. First down, Sioux City.
So it was intended for McGaw, but Vason made the play. He kind of undercut McGaw and took it away from him.
He did.
So with just 19 seconds left, all the Bandits have to do is run out the clock here.
Are they going to go up under center? This is where they fumbled against the
We
line.
get one more look at it. Yeah, he made the move, took it away from him. It wasn't tipped or anything. And here is Kamal Cass on the running play. Keeps the clock, marks it down to 12 seconds left.
Ball is placed at the 12-yard line. Sets up a second down.
So,
second down. Brought to you by
barring a
Machinery.
turnover
Second
here,
down.
the miracle finish.
Please put 13 seconds on the clock. 1-3.
So Billings using their timeout. We've got one more second, 13 seconds left. Got to give credit to the Bandits. Trailed at halftime, came right out in the second half and scored in 3 plays. And that's pretty much been their mojo here in the second half. Once they get their hands on the ball, they've been just electric. And Lorenzo Brown Jr., their quarterback, has really been hot here in the second half, both running and passing.
Very well. Yep. Nice ball handling. You know, but they stayed, you know, composed the whole game. They just never wavered in their game plan.
So Brown, the quarterback, he's just going to hand it, and they lose yardage back to the 10.
Once again, DeJarius
inside the 10, so that'll stop the clock.
does a great job. DeJarius Antone, brought to you by Kirkness Roofing. Sets up a third down at the 9-yard line.
Sioux City was tackled for a loss. By rule, the clock will be stopped
Yeah,
until the
since
snap.
exactly what the official said. I'll go with him. If he gets tackled for a loss, that stops the clock. If he gain yardage in the last minute of the game, the clock continues to run.
Yep.
So
Antoine with a very timely blitz. You guessed right.
So some of the fans have left, but some are kind of hanging by the exits. They want to see if there is a miracle finish.
It's not over till it's over.
That's true. And here goes Brown, a little pitch play to Cass. Cass crosses the 12-yard line. Down he goes. And with 5 seconds left, the Outlaws call their final timeout, I believe.
Timeout. Billings, their second and a half.
Well, I suppose they might have one more left.
Ball
if
is
they
placed at the 13-yard line. Fourth down. Fourth down brought to you by CQ Fire
Okay,
Safety.
so fourth down. The Bandits, they need to get that legitimately if the Outlaws could stop them.
3 timeouts perhaps.
They have one more, they have one timeout left after this.
If unless
Travis,
Sioux City
will you
runs a
sit
play
down,
that takes
please,
longer than
so
5
I can
seconds.
see?
Yeah.
What's wrong with you?
And I'm guessing it won't be a pass.
So the Bandits set up on offense. They're hoping this is the last play of the game. Outlaws hope differently.
It's gonna be. Trying to
Lorenzo
get the first down.
throws it deep to no one in particular, and that'll do it.
That's a good strategy. Take long enough to throw a pass nowhere where anybody can catch it.
Outlaws Outlaws 42.
So Sioux
Thank
City,
you for attending
after
the Billings
trailing most of the game,
Outlaws football
comes back
game brought to you by
with a flurry of
TDS
activity here in the
Fiber.
second half. 2 interceptions in the fourth quarter paved their way to victory. Larange Vason picked off both of those passes, returned one all the way down and set his team up for the go-ahead score. And the Outlaws offense sputtered at the end. They could not solve the Bandits defense. A well-played game though, Rick. Maybe both of these teams, we might see them meet in the playoffs. Let's hope so.
I would think that's a very strong possibility. But you know, the Outlaws didn't play bad. It was just a couple of little things. And then the one difference that both of us talked about all game was the kicking game. The kicker made a big difference.
Penalties
in
played.
Returns, and penalties in the second half.
Penalties in the second half were huge against the Outlaws, especially in the last 6 minutes. They had 2 holding penalties that they had a 1st and 10 inside the 10, but a holding penalty brought that play back. And McCullum really had nowhere to go at the end. He had to just throw it, and turned out it was Vason on the receiving end of those 2 interceptions that cost the Outlaws dearly at the end of this game. So the Outlaws fall to 6-3 on the year. They're now tied with Salina for 2nd place in the league. And Sioux City moves to 8-1. And they've pretty much locked themselves up a home field advantage throughout the playoffs. The Outlaws, remains to be seen how they will stand and set up themselves for the playoffs. They have one more game in the regular season next weekend against those Wyoming Mustangs. We get to play it here in the Metro, so that would be an advantage. This is the first home loss of the season for the Outlaws.
And they won't take Wyoming lightly. And then the playoffs start, I think, the following week and go clear through to what, June 25th?
Yes. First weekend is June 11th, and the top 2 teams out of the 6 that make it get a bye. And the Outlaws are hoping at the very least that they will at least get at least 1 home game in the playoffs.
Correct.
But both of these teams have played each other tight in their 2 games. Sioux City has come up on the upper hand in both of them. The Outlaws hope if they get another shot at them, things could turn around. But they'll have to shore up a few of the problems they had tonight, mainly on the penalties end of things. And Sioux City came out with a great offensive game plan. You could see they're perhaps one of the more balanced teams we've seen in the passing and running department. Billings really couldn't run very much at all tonight.
Didn't. Got a couple of Troy broke off a couple of them in his whirling dervish moves. But, the game really came down to those little things that we talked about. But the fans that showed up, there was a lot of them here tonight, they saw a great game.
Yeah.
Maybe it was a home loss, but they saw a great game. Outlaws played hard. All the players out there are going to be tired. And some of them are beat up, and they left it all out on the field. And
you have to think the Outlaws will be kicking themselves. They feel they had this game. At least they had the upper hand for 3/4 of the game. But you could feel the momentum shift there in the middle part of the fourth quarter, and mainly because Sioux City was just 2 plays and score, 3 plays and score. It was just they had that momentum and that rhythm going. And the Outlaws had, even though we had success in that second half, they had to work a little harder for their yardage. And in the end, a couple of ill-timed interceptions cost them dearly. So we'll see you next week, fans. The CIF living up to its billing in this game. The game of the season did not disappoint. Again, it was final. Sioux City 49, the Billings Outlaws 42. Next weekend, again, the Outlaws will play the Wyoming Mustangs. And that is a game set for Saturday. I may stand corrected. Their schedule has changed a lot on me, Rick. 2 or 3 times the schedule has switched. I don't think we have any concerts next weekend, but I could be wrong. But at any rate, be watching and hope the fans will come out to support this Billings Outlaws team for their final home game of the regular season next weekend. Again, your final from the First Interstate Arena here at Metro Park. It was Sioux City 49, the Billings Outlaws 42. For Rick Holmes, I'm Jay Cohn. Thanks for joining us tonight. We'll see you again next weekend.